What up, everybody? Good morning and happy Thursday. Dan Kasper Show's on the air. Radio dials, you got a couple of those. 105.1 FM, 790 AM. Also available online, sportstalk1051.com, where you can get the video stream, YouTube video stream. You can also get that link on Twitter. That's up there as well. Otherwise, you got the app in your Google and Alexa home devices. Happy Thirsty Thursday, everybody. Hopefully you're all off to a fantastic start as we approach the end of the week. One day away from the Classic tomorrow. Going to be heading out to Princeton Valley a little bit later on this morning to go over some final stuff. And it's going to be here. Who's going to be hoisting the belt? Who's going to be hoisting the title belts for the winning team? We got two of them, so each person on your two-person team is going to go home with a title belt to showcase and display, however you want to go about it. So we begin, though, with our scripted plays, our opening drive scripted plays here this morning, and another late night. And, well, you didn't miss a whole lot, Brewers fans, because the Brewers got shellacked again by the Dodgers, 12-6. Brewers got off to a hot start, thinking, okay, here we go, Willie Adames getting the homer in the first. And then the Dodgers followed that up by putting up 4 in the bottom of the first. So, yeah. Adrian Hauser, he just doesn't look like the answer. Going 2 1/3, 5 earned runs, 4 walks. It was ugly in his return off the injured list. Craig Counsell, after the game, said that they're going to have to find somebody to fill in and eat some innings while Aaron Ashby is out. So, I mean, that kind of gives you maybe a little bit of a glimpse to what the Brewers think of Hauser right now, but he's just not it. Something's just not clicking. Jason Alexander was able to come in and throw 3 1/3. Did give up 3 earned runs, but just so that the bullpen wouldn't be taxed, I guess, so much and all that fun stuff. But Brewers have the off day today, their first off day since April 11th when this stretch run began right before the Cardinals here. So luckily, the Padres lost again to Cleveland, so Brewers still remain 1.5 back in a wild card chase, if you kind of keep tabs there. They remain 5.5 back within the division, but time's starting to creep. This is a must stretch. I don't care that they got a full month left in September. This is a must-win stretch. When you return home and you go against the Cubbies and you've got the Pirates for 6 straight games at home, then you go on the road against Arizona and then Colorado, then return home for a couple games against the Giants doubleheader there, and then Cincinnati. You have got to win these series. There is no more excuses. You have got to get it done. Take care of your business, for crying out loud now. I mean, the Padres are doing their best again for the second straight year to screw this thing up for them, to miss the postseason again. Padres are doing their best to do that for you, Brewers. So let's go now. Come on. It's getting frustrating. And when you look at, the Dodgers' upcoming schedule, I mean, they got Kansas City, but, in that final month, we took a look at it, the last week, a few days ago? I mean, their final month of the regular season isn't anything to snooze about either. I mean, they've got a tough schedule coming up here, and the way that they're playing, if you're a Padres fan, you're probably not feeling that great. They begin the month of September against the Dodgers, and they got the Diamondbacks, the Dodgers again. Seattle's going to be playing for a postseason spot. St. Louis, Dodgers. We'll see what the White Sox are like at the end of the regular season. Maybe they're still pushing for that for a playoff spot there. So, yeah, take advantage of this now, this weekend here, Brewers, and next week. You have got to take advantage of this. You have got to win these series. I'm calling it must win. You've got to win these. No more excuses. Get it done. Oh. All right, but at least the Dodgers are over with. And you still got Yankees and Mets and that coming up on your schedule too. So, and Cardinals for 4 more games. But get it done. Next up on the scripted, Packers. We get a preseason game, the final preseason game tonight in Kansas City. We know starters will not be playing besides the offensive line. So same thing that we have seen in the first 2 preseason games, all right? So don't expect to see 12. Don't expect to see any of the other main starters in tonight's game. But that doesn't mean we don't have anything to watch for, that we don't have anything to pay attention to. So who are you watching tonight? What are the positions, in your opinion, that are maybe up for grabs in terms of depth and that sort of thing? Mine, and then I'll go into it a little bit more detail coming up here in just a little bit, but I think it's safety and I think it's edge rusher. I think with the trade of Cole Van Lanen, I think the offensive line for the most part is pretty much that. I think we've got 9 spots guaranteed, and if they decide to carry 10, they could go Caleb Jones. So I think now with Cole Van Lanen with Jacksonville, it kind of solidified that. Now there's some speculation, some talk. Do the Packers open up the season with just 2 running backs, A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones? This week we saw Amari Rodgers taking some carries out of the backfield, just trying to get the ball in his hands and maybe maybe a little bit better as soon as he gets the ball in his hands to try to make some plays. Could Amari Rodgers kind of be that pseudo wide receiver running back? Tyler Goodson, though, has looked good in these first 2 games, I think, in my opinion. Patrick Taylor. But does Green Bay carry 2? Some are kind of wondering, do they do that? Me personally, my thoughts, I wouldn't, but that's why I'm sitting here and not at 1265 Lombardi Avenue. So running backs, you've got, maybe the wide receivers. Are they gonna carry 7, or is Juwan Winfrey gonna make Green Bay carry 7? Is Amari Rodgers gonna make Green Bay carry 7 wide receivers? If they're dead set on just carrying 6, who's gonna get the advantage there? Tight end Tyler Davis probably had his best outing, his best practice on Tuesday. In 2 straight preseason games, he has been graded the lowest player. So can he come out and win a job Thursday? For all the talk about the tight end in the offseason, is he going to be able to go out there and win himself a job? So we've got players, we've got position groups. We know the starters, but the depth in these certain spots kind of up in the air. And how much, with their contributions to special teams matter in this, because, the other day, Tyler Davis is a great example of this. Tyler Davis, the tight end, as we mentioned, been talked about in the offseason. Shout-outs from Goody in the offseason. Shout-outs from Matt LaFleur in the offseason. Haven't seen it offensively, but Matt LaFleur just the other day mentioned his special teams play. So you carry a guy that specifically just for special teams, especially at a position where you don't know if your number 1 tight end is going to be going week 1. And your next one is 38, 39, Mercedes Lewis, 37. And then you got Josiah DeGuara, who's a little H-back tight end type of role. So, what do you do? So I'll go in a little bit more depth of some of the positions and some of the players that I'll be kind of eyeing up and who have a chance, in my opinion, to win some jobs tonight. And then next week, Green Bay will have to get down to their 53-man roster. But it sounds like maybe we'll see Christian Watson tonight for the first time on the field. We'll see if Jordan Love targets him early and often, kind of like how he has with Romeo Dobbs. So first time we'll see number 9 out there. It sure sounds like it. I mean, LaFleur, paraphrasing, said, but if he's ready to go, he's going to go out there. And I'd have to imagine he's going to be ready to go. So, but got that. We'll hit up. Also, it is a little receiver defer. We'll hit that up coming a little bit later on here. We're going to chat some more college football as we inch closer and closer to kickoff. We went to the Big Ten. Big Ten predictions and all that fun stuff. But we've got actually some college football games starting this weekend, believe it or not. So we'll hit that up and preview it. Wyoming, Nebraska, Northwestern, those big time ones. Got Hawaii and Vanderbilt. We got Florida State's in action, North Carolina, Florida A&M. So college football kicking off this weekend. Then it really gets going next week. But we do have some games to kind of take a look at here. So what are your Big Ten predictions? Okay, what are your Big Ten predictions? Think about that for a little bit. I mean, are you just going straight up chalk Ohio State versus Wisconsin in the Big Ten? Anybody, willing to go a different route? We were talking about some of the predictions from CBS Sports yesterday, and one writer talking about, hey, this potentially could be the best Badger team, one of the best Badger football teams. Looking at it with Allen, Graham Mertz, the defense. You buying that? I don't know if I'm buying that, but are you buying that? I don't know. A little skeptical on that point. So yeah, we'll hit that up too. It is a Thirsty Thursday. Who are you giving shout outs to? Who are you toasting here? Hit us up, okay? Hit us up with some text on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line, 715-830-1912. We got a little Carpet City Flooring Center outdoor tidbit. Jake Boakes, our DNR warden friend, hopping on 8:30, answering one or two questions, really quick in and out, a little tidbit there. So we'll hit that up around, again, 8:30, so a little over a couple of hours from now. But if you have any last-minute questions, you can text those, or you can text them whenever, and then we'll save them for the next time too. So, but let's get it going. Let's get to the main course here this morning. Let's open up things. We'll just kind of do a little bit of both here. Brewers, we've got final preseason game tonight. So what position groups or what players are you going to be looking at? Who's on the bubble tonight that if they go out there and they have themselves a fantastic game or they have themselves a good game, they're going to win a job tonight? And do you only open up the season with 2 running backs? It's kind of a chatter out there. Are you comfortable with that? I don't know if I am. Especially given the fact that Jones and Dillon might be on the field together more this year. But that's a little bit of the chatter out there. I don't know if I'm buying it. I don't know if I'm buying that. But hey, if you can get on board with that, convince me. Tell me why. So let's get her going now. Main course coming up. Let's talk some football. Final preseason game coming up tonight. We'll throw a little Brewers chat in there too. Must wins for the next week or two? I think so. What do you think? We'll discuss.
Got a take on today's topics but can't call in? Then hit us up on Facebook, Twitter, or the text line and let your fingers do the talking. The shortest sports betting drive from the Twin Cities is the Book Sports Betting Lounge at St. Croix Casino, Turtle Lake. Sports betting in person, great food, craft beverages, VIP seating, and 360-degree theater and the round viewing on giant HD TVs. You gotta see it to believe it. Sports betting is now legal at the Book. More at GoPlayWin.com. Just a short drive away. St. Croix Casino, Turtle Lake. Find your fortune.
Fall is fast approaching. Football, leaves falling, cooler nights and mornings, and hunting season. It's time to get ready for hunting season, people. You've waited all winter, spring, and summer for this, and Tilden Gun has been waiting for you. You looking for a shotgun for turkey, duck, or bird hunting? How about a new rifle for deer or bear hunting? Tilden Gun has the best selection in the area and at the best prices. Tilden Gun is your best spot to get ready for the upcoming 2022 hunting season. I know from experience. I've gotten my new turkey shotgun and my new deer rifle from Tilden Gun. And I ain't kidding when I said it was the best price that I found. And you want to talk about the selection? Tilden Gun easily had the best selection of firearms. I can't tell you how many people have told me that Tilden Gun was the only place that could find the certain firearm they were looking for. So what the heck are you waiting for? Visit tildengun.com to look for your new hunting firearm today.
Get ready to save with half-off deals, a great way for you to get goods and services that you will love and you don't have to pay full price. Be sure to check out all the great savings that half-off deals have to offer. There's something for everyone, so be sure to see for yourself. Be ready with your credit or debit card and get ready to save. For more details and to find out about all the savings, just go to aroundthe715.com.
Hi, this is Matt LePay, voice of Badgers football and basketball. At this very moment, there are thousands of Wisconsin families impacted by Alzheimer's disease or dementia who need support. Who do they trust? The Alzheimer's Association. Caregiving can be an emotionally, physically, and financially draining role. The Alzheimer's Association provides education, care, and support to all those facing Alzheimer's and other dementia. The Alzheimer's Association is here all day, every day, through their free 24/7 helpline. One call, thousands of answers. If you have concerns about memory loss or other cognitive changes, or questions about caregiving, Alzheimer's diagnosis, and treatment or clinical trials, make that call today to 800-272-3900 or visit alz.org/WI.
Sponsored by the Alzheimer's Association Wisconsin chapter with funding by Oak Park Place Foundation.
Do you remember the countless times when you were young and playing in the backyard, daydreaming of playing against or with your favorite athlete, or imagining yourself chasing your dreams and experiencing life the way you're supposed to? That's how we came up with a name for Backyard Dreams. Backyard Dreams is WAYY Sports Talk 105.1 790 AM's charitable entity. We have 5 main goals for Backyard Dreams: to provide and promote opportunities for anyone to have a chance to play, to help anyone overcome obstacles to chase their dreams, to help raise awareness for those in need, to help create opportunities for those to enjoy their passions, and to help those enjoy their life and create special memories. It doesn't matter if you are a child, teen, or an adult. Backyard Dreams wants to help anyone. For more information, success stories about Backyard Dreams, and if you know someone who could benefit from Backyard Dreams, just visit sportstalk1051.com and click on the Backyard Dreams tab.
More than the scores. More than the news. It's Sports Out the Squeaker. The Dan Kasper Show.
Tomorrow at this time, we'll be over at Princeton Valley Golf Course doing the show live there for the golf outing. Again, I want to give some big thanks to many of our partners out there. First and foremost, Princeton Valley Golf Course for letting us go out there and have the outing and allowing a bunch of us goofballs to go out there and do some golfing. Park Ridge Distributing would not be possible without their amazing help. Carpet City Flooring Center, Hy-Vee, the lunch sponsor, Service Master Chippewa Valley, Clay over there. Shout out to Clay for the donations as well. VFW Post 305, Economy Furniture, Coach Andrew and Bloomer T from Myron Construction, Wisco's, Wagner's Lanes and Complex, Jade Excavating, Doodah Gin, Pro Valley Auto Glass, Shields, Sam Adams, Spectrum Industries for the donations, Chip Magnet Salsa. Again, everybody's going to be going home with a bottle of, or excuse me, a jar of salsa too. So big thanks to everybody, and a big thanks to all the golfers. We've got over 100 golfers that have signed up to participate in the outing tomorrow, with the ultimate prize, with the title belts up for grabs. G-Man already trash talking again. Saying JR and I will have the belts. I'm waiting for Surveyor to chime in, or C-Bomb or anything like that. But G-Man's also going to be looking at the special teams for tonight's game. G-Man, by the way, we got the G-Man hole. We got a couple things in honor of our number one listener, G-Man. First of all, golfers are going to have the opportunity to win his 401k tomorrow. He doesn't know that. He probably knows it now. But golfers are going to have the opportunity to win his 401k, and they're going to have the opportunity where G-Man's going to have to buy them a beer. Just one golfer. on the G-Man hole. That's all I'll say at this point.
Well, I know he's probably more on board with the buying the beer than giving up the 401k, but whatever you could work, the G-Man is pretty accommodating in most areas.
Yep, exactly. So just say it. If you will see him on the course guaranteed on a certain hole. I'll just leave it at that. A little bit of a tease. He doesn't even know about it. So.
Oh, he doesn't?
He doesn't even know about
good.
it. So.
That's when it's more fun.
Exactly. So we got some stuff lined up there too. We've got on one hole we'll have a gentleman who long drives. He's won some long drive competitions. He's been on the Golf Channel and such. So you want to throw $5 in to, maybe boost your distance. He's helping us out over there too. So we'll have a bunch of good stuff over there.
Some of those guys can really move it. I'll tell you, it's unbelievable.
Right. So yeah, that's going to be fun. So I'm looking forward to it. It's Jason Aiken from Thorpe too. So local one. He's So we'll hole 5, I think, which hole 5 is always my bugaboo. That's the tight to the left.
Oh, the houses along the left there.
Yes.
After that that little par 3 along the clubhouse is always one that gives me a little problem. But I got a little slice in my ball, so that number 5 doesn't bother me too much. I can usually keep it away from the houses and keep her on the golf course.
See, I've got a slice too, but for that hole, there's like a magnet.
That could be a nasty hole down that hill too,
Yep.
going back to the back end of the golf course.
But Jason's the long drive. You probably remember this. He's the one-handed golfer that's won long drive. From Thorpe. So yeah,
okay.
So he's gonna be out there for us.
Good for him.
So that'll be a lot of fun. See, Surveyor already chimed in. G-Man, I really appreciate you funding my daughter's college fund. So that's gonna be a lot of fun.
Boy, speaking of college funds in the news, nothing to do with sports, but Biden, forgiving some of this student loan. And when I went to school, and you went to school a lot later than I did, when I went to college, and again, this was back in the 60s, late 60s, my first semester, what my tuition was my first semester?
$100?
$150.
Really?
And now it's, and then when I graduated the last semester, this is a university in Madison, University of Wisconsin-Madison. The last semester when I graduated, my graduating semester, $365 for the whole semester. Now I just talked to a young lady that works with me on the farm show on Wax. She's finishing up her college career and paying her tuition. It's $360 a credit.
Yeah.
I could take 16 credits for $365.
Yeah.
And wow, it's different. And so anyway, funding, if you can find somebody to finance your daughter's college career, you've just given yourself a big raise, I'll tell you that.
Thank you, G-Man, for doing that.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, man.
Green and Gold final preseason game coming up tonight. Again, no starters besides some of the offensive linemen that we've seen in the first 2 games. But
Bakhtiari?
No Bakhtiari. This is pretty much exactly the same what we saw from the first 2 games. Although we might see Christian Watson. It sure sounds like we're going to see Christian Watson for the first time, the rookie wide receiver. So with the final game coming up tonight, jobs on the line, dreams. I hate to be dramatic, but dreams will be broken for some of these young players. Maybe their jobs could be somewhere else, but this is their last chance to make an impression and force a team to, or I shouldn't say force, but win a job on their team, or maybe win a job somewhere else. But when it comes to a championship hopeful team like Green Bay, now the jobs, there's not too many openings. Let's just put it that way. So when you look at this with the final game, what are the positions you're looking at, or maybe are there certain players you're looking at? We threw out a couple of them out there at the beginning. Is it the depth at outside linebackers? Is it the depth at safety? If the Packers decide to only keep 6 wide receivers, is it between Winfrey and Rodgers? There's some talk. Could they only carry 2 running backs? Amari Rodgers was getting snaps at running back this week. There's a few different things to be looking at tonight. But what are you looking at tonight?
I'm looking at the defense again. I want to see the defense continue to perform, and are they going to play some of their regulars a little bit to give them some?
None.
They're
No
not.
starters.
Okay.
None.
So we won't see any game cohesion during the preseason, and whether that means they're not showing anybody anything and they're confident from what they've seen in practice. These guys don't need the reps. We'll find out, because the first game isn't going to be an easy one. It never is when you start off with the Vikings, but it's interesting. And that game is over in Minnesota, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, I see they renamed their stadium over there.
Lambeau Field West.
No, they named it Grant's Tomb, where good football players go to die.
Ooh. Shots fired. Oh.
I just heard that the other day, and I thought, oh, man.
Look at you coming out hot hour at 6:30. That's Bob Bolsold at Midwest Family Broadcasting.
Yeah, send them there.
You didn't even come up. I was going to give you extra credit if you came up with that one yourself. But
no, a friend of mine who is in the middle of the fray with Viking fans all the time. He's always got one, and he came up with that when I saw the other day. He said, "Yep,
G-Man, you can use that for your golf buddy tomorrow. He's a Vikings fan, so you throw that one out there." But
new stadium name, Grant's Tomb.
I like that. To me, the one that's kind of like been trending so far is the whole 2 running back situation with Green Bay. Start the season with just 2 running backs. I'm not comfortable with that one, considering, we're assuming Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon are going to get a lot of playing time together, like on the field together. So, I mean, I would want a little bit of depth there. And if Amari Rodgers does play a little running back, that's fine. But I'd want a more typical running back. And I think Tyler Goodson, the undrafted kid from Iowa, has looked good the first 2 games. I think he deserves a shot. He reminds me of a old school, typical third down back.
If he can play on special teams and do some of these other things, I think there probably is a place on the roster, on the active roster for him. But I'm anxious to see Jones and Dillon in the backfield at the same time, because I think it can open up the running game. You put one of them in motion, and because they're both good pass receivers, one of them in motion, and maybe that opens up some holes in the line, because it's got to take a linebacker with him. Matt LaFleur's got a lot of options. I just hope he's creative enough, and he showed that he is pretty creative, to come up with an offense that can fit the personnel he's got now. Maybe the focus comes off the wide receivers with Devontae Adams gone and goes to these backs, and that opens up some chances for these young receivers. I just think there's a lot of options that they're looking at.
Mm-hmm. Wide receivers, we kind of mentioned it. Do they keep 6? Do they keep 7? Can Winfrey and Amari Rodgers force that hand with some solid games, or a solid game tonight? Because we know Lazard's a lock. We know Watkins is a lock. Cobb is a lock. Romeo Dobbs is a lock. Christian Watson is a lock. So the question is, do they keep 6? Heck, maybe they're only going to keep 5. I don't know. I doubt that, but we never know.
What about tight ends? That's going to be an X factor this year.
Tight ends, Tyler Davis, as we were talking about a little bit earlier, the guy that was getting shout outs from Goody and LaFleur all offseason. But the first 2 games, he has been the lowest rated Packer player in preseason. Had his best practice on Tuesday. But we got to see something from him. I know they talk about his special teams play, but with the unknown of Tunyon, if he's going to be ready for week 1, you got Mercedes Lewis, who's limited, Josiah DeGuara, who's more of an H-back sort of thing. Tyler Davis needs to go out there and show something tonight. I mean, great that he had all that talk in the offseason, but he hasn't shown a lick in these first 2 games.
No, he really hasn't. He hasn't shown much speed. He hasn't shown much pass catching ability, much as far as route running is concerned. So, he's he started out as a quarterback and moved to different positions, and now they put him at tight end. And you would think a guy that was a quarterback should be athletic enough to be able to handle that position, but so far he hasn't shown it.
Mm-hmm. I think the 2 biggest ones in terms of, we're not looking for starting jobs. These are pretty much set in stone. But to me, the 2 biggest position groups that need to solidify some depth, and maybe that depth isn't on this team right now. It might be some players that are cut from other teams and Green Bay brings in. But I think there's big time question marks with the depth surrounding safety and the edge rushing position. Safety, Vernon Scott, who was getting the reps when Darnell Savage got hurt with his hamstring. He got released this week. So you're down to like Sean Davis. You've got Enos Gaines who came back. I mean, there's some unknowns with that safety group behind Adrian Amos and Darnell Savage. So safeties tonight are going to have an opportunity to potentially win a job, whether it's going to be a Sean Davis or a Gaines or anybody else. And then outside linebacker. I mean, Rashawn Gary and Preston Smith, they're locks, but you got Kingsley that's been making some waves. He's probably going to make the roster. Ladarius Hamilton's been there a couple years, special teams factor, but he's made some noise. You've got Tippa, who I know the Packers really like. You've got this kid, Kobe Jones, who won a job on a tryout basis, but he's been looking good. You got Jonathan Garvin. Point is, it's up in the air behind Rashawn Gary and Preston Smith. And from what we've seen from Joe Barry, he likes to have that rotation in for his edge rusher. So, I mean, who's going to be 3? Who's going to be 4 at edge rusher? And are they going to be serviceable edge rushers, not just bodies, allowing Preston Smith and Rashawn Gary to take some snaps off?
But from what you're saying, it sounds like they're high on most of these guys. So it's not like they're saying, well, who is the best of the worst? It sounds like you've got some real talent to pick from, or they're confident that there are going to be some cuts made by other teams as these rosters are cut down and there'll be players available.
Yes. Safety is the one that I'm most concerned about. I feel like they're edge rushers. They got a couple guys in there that, that can be interesting. Safety behind Adrian and Savage, that to me is way up in the air.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
And that's so important. I mean, you look at what a real above average safety can mean for that defense as far as, just finding that receiver to double cover, filling in on the run, picking up that tight end coming off the line. A good safety makes a big difference in your defense. You tackle a tight end 12, 15 yards down the field. Yeah, you made a tackle, but a good safety is going to be there challenging that tight end when he comes out for that pass. So we'll have to see what we get out of those guys tonight. And I don't know what kind of tight ends are going to be challenged with tonight. But
I don't know if Kelsey will play tonight or not. I doubt that too. So
not the last game of the preseason.
I would like it if he would, so the safeties could get.
Well, it would be nice
bit,
because they see the best tight end in football and what it means to guard this guy.
Yep. So we got that, maybe at the back end of the corner, the 5 and 6, who's going to win those corner spots there.
I'm not concerned about the corners.
I'm not concerned about top 4, but 5, 6, what I was going to say is those 5, 6 guys, can they be contributors to special teams? That's they got to be able. Obviously, everybody's going to be looking at special teams.
They're going to keep that many safety or corners?
Oh, every team usually carries 5 or 6 corners.
They do. Okay.
Yeah, somewhere around there. So, and a lot of those back ends are on special teams.
Yeah, I know they're special teams because they got some speed and hopefully they can hit. But I didn't realize they carried 5 or 6.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, usually. I mean, I think they only carry 2 quarterbacks this year, Aaron and Jordan. Running backs, I think they'll carry 3. Wide receivers, 6 or 7. Tight ends. I gotta see it from Tyler Davis. I'm watching 84 tonight.
Yeah, there's no question. He's got to produce to have a job.
And then I mean, hey, if the long snapper Jack Coco goes out there and he has an awful performance tonight, Goody already said, he's not opposed to looking for a veteran after all the cuts. So you're on notice there, Mr. Jack Coco. And hey, maybe the kicker too. I mean, we don't know if Mason's not off the pup yet, although they sound pretty darn confident that he's going to be ready for week 1. But at that point, do you still carry 2 kickers just to cover your butts in case he has a setback with that knee?
Yeah, that's true because Mason Crosby is on thin ice, I think, right now. He's been a great kicker for a long time, but I think age has taken a little bit of the whip out of that leg. And also, you mentioned he's had some of these nagging injuries. And, of course, it's a kicker has leg problems. That's not a good thing. If a shoulder problem is one thing, but when a kicker has leg problems, then you got to start covering your backside.
Mm-hmm. And at the beginning, we talked about at the beginning of training camp and preseason, we talked about the offensive line. But I think now with, Elton and Bakhtiari off the pup, they're not going to, that means they're going to be on the 53-man roster when the season starts. You can't put them back on the pup. I can't imagine, unless he has a setback, You know, the only way that he would not be on the 53 is if they put him on injured reserve. But, you know, with Cole Van Lanen, the former Badger, being traded, I think the offensive line is kind of stabilized, and we pretty much know what that group is. If they decide to keep 10, maybe it's the 6'9" mammoth of Caleb Jones, who's had a pretty solid preseason there. And remember,
he's a big man.
yeah, and remember the rules too, that teams can dress 48 if that final person is an offensive lineman, which would kind of make sense in Green Bay's case because of the unknown with Bakhtiari and Elton Jenkins. So that might open the door for a guy like Caleb Jones over there. So never know. But,
and trading Van Lanen, you gotta think that they are in pretty good spirits over Bakhtiari and
Elton Jenkins.
Elton Jenkins, thank you. Over those two guys that are going to be able to help sooner rather than later.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think the timing of activating Bakhtiari too, I think that tells you that they feel like he's going to play within the first couple weeks of the regular season. Because if you keep him on the pup to open the season, he would have to miss 4 games. So by activating him and taking a roster spot, that to me tells me they feel like he's going to be able to go within the first couple weeks.
Well,
Otherwise,
this is about
why?
18 months plus, isn't it, that he's had this injury? And Tunyon, what's the status of Tunyon?
He's off the pup.
He's off the pup too.
Yep. There's only one, well, technically 2. But Hill, the running back, he's going into the regular season pup list, so he's going to miss the 4 games, and then Mason Crosby's still on pup.
Yeah, and I think Hill, like you already talked about the running back situation with the kid from Iowa, I don't think that's an urgent problem, but I think having those 2 offensive linemen available is going to be big time stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if Bakhtiari will play week 1, but I'm pretty confident that or at least they're confident he's going to play within the first couple weeks, which is, I mean, that changes the whole landscape of the offensive line.
Oh, no question about it, especially if he can stay healthy, and if he's still got, he's not going to be 100% David Bakhtiari, but if he can be 80, 85%.
I was going to say, if he could be 85% David, I'm still happy.
Oh, so am I, because he still makes him one of the best in the league.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes Aaron Rodgers a lot more comfortable, too.
Yeah, when you got him on the blind and then you got Elton on the right tackle over there. I mean, I would love those 2 to be able to go for Minnesota when you got Hunter and Zadarius Smith over there, rushing the quarterback. But you got 17 games, and I understand it's a long season, too. But, then the rookie, Zach Tom, I'm curious if he's going to crack that lineup at some point. We mentioned it the other day. There's been 2 rookie offensive tackles in preseason, minimum of 25 pass protecting snaps to have not allowed a single pressure. And this kid from Wake Forest is one of them. And he's played every single spot on the offensive line besides center, but he played center for 2 years at Wake Forest. So it's like Elton Jenkins 2.0 on that offensive line.
I know when they drafted him, there was a lot of conversation about he's a Packer offensive lineman because he's not coming in as your left guard. He's coming in as an offensive lineman, and he can play various spots because he did it at Wake Forest, and he did it well at Wake Forest. So I think this kid's got a lot of football in his future.
Yeah, it's going to be going to be curious if they can try to figure to get him out on the field. I think, when you look at it, maybe it's a Royce Newman that's kind of unnoticed. Because remember, Elton Jenkins didn't start right away when he was a rookie, but he got in fairly quick. I think it was after a game or 2 over there. But, yeah, I kind of like the potential of the depth of this offensive line.
And you look at teams that have been successful. I mean, I question what's going to happen with Tampa Bay. Their offensive line right now is a wreck.
Yeah.
I mean, they got, I think, 3 players that are out and out for a long time that have been, the guardians of Tom Brady. And you look at teams that have been successful, are teams that have an offensive line that has been consistently playing, maybe not every game, but they're playing most of the season. And Tampa Bay is now in trouble, I think, with an offensive line. They talk about the receivers and, not having Gronk is going to make a difference. Gronk's been a savior for Brady when the offensive line has broken down a little bit. They got Rudolph, the kid who used to play with the Vikings. He's not a Gronk, but he's still an awfully good tight end, no question about it. But I think if the Packers' offensive line can stay healthy, relatively healthy, no perfect season for an offensive line. I don't care who you are. I think it's going to go a long way to the success of this team. And it doesn't, we always focus on the wide receiver group and the pass rush, but I think the offensive line will make those wide receivers a whole lot better if they can stay healthy.
Yep. It changes, I think, a little bit too what you can do with the play calling and the game planning.
Oh, no question.
I mean, if you got some, no offense to like Yash or Royce Newman over there playing right tackle compared to Bakhtiari and Elton Jenkins, maybe you can, hold the ball a half second longer for a deeper play down the field or something, but it changes how you can call a game a little bit too.
But all, those injuries to Elton Jenkins and Bakhtiari have given these guys playing time.
Yeah.
That just, from playing the game, the more you play, the more confident you are, the more secure you are, the better you feel about your ability to do things. And that's never going to hurt them. Hopefully now, going through the suffering of not having Bakhtiari and Elton Jenkins and having to move these guys around in the offensive line, maybe now we're going to reap some of the benefits of having so many guys with so much playing time.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's getting on the field and getting your feet wet, but the communication, working the kinks out that way a little bit too. So, but I'm just ready to get to the regular season because, I mean, this defense and practice has had their way with this offense, and I just want to see this group and I think first of all, I want to see if this is legit, like if this group, and I think we're all excited about the potential of this defense and when you look at it, but I mean, we've been seeing reports where they're just like dominating up front and that I want to see them in a real game action to see if that's going to live up to that hype. But I think that's going to be a huge benefit to that Packers offense too, going up against that defense throughout this whole training camp. If they are lights out like that and that offensive line, those young, inexperienced guys going up against a Kenny Clark and a Rashawn Gary and a Preston Smith, that alone is a huge benefit for those guys there too. So I think this Packers offense, that's why whenever I see, Packers defense dominated again, I don't freak out about the offense because I'm like, okay, that's good work, for those guys to get that. Because how many times have we been able to say that in the last 10, 15 years with Green Bay?
Yeah, that's not for sure. No, the defense has been the real if side of the ball. And again, that's why do you defer the opening kickoff with that defense? Yeah. So now I'm not. Now I hopefully won't be on that.
I was going to say, are you going to change your tune a little bit?
Wow. If this defense shows up, yes, I'll change my tune. But that's what you got to be. You got to be, you got to be able to adjust on the fly. Just everybody, because of that third quarter, we want the ball in the third quarter. Well, you're starting down 7-0. The Tampa Bay game was a good example. They deferred. Tom Brady went right down. Got ahead 7-0, and we were behind the whole game. I mean, so hopefully we can change our tune, and the defense will be able to make us change our tune. And I'm more than willing to change my tune.
Oh, Bob is
but not yet.
With arms wide open.
Absolutely, I'm always up for change and improvement, and if they're going to improve, and hopefully they are, then let's defer the opening kickoff if our defense is good enough.
Saw the other day too. Rasul Douglas was getting a little playing time at safety as well. So
I saw that.
A little versatility.
Doing well.
I like the versatility. Trying to get your best 11 on the field at any given point. So when you have some depth and you have some options, attaboy.
Absolutely.
Attaboy. I'm excited, man.
Yeah, I think it's going to be. I don't know if I'm excited. I'm kind of. I don't know what word to use.
Cautiously optimistic?
Yeah, I am. That'd be a good phrase to use, cautiously optimistic, because, if some of these things come together, the offensive line comes together, gives Aaron Rodgers time, the wide receivers can be pretty good. If the play calling by Matt LaFleur is developed to deal with the inexperience of the wide receivers, but the talent of the running backs and the quarterback, I think this team can give a whole lot of teams a lot of different looks that they haven't seen before. Because, like even in the division, well, what the Vikings do, what the Packers do, Lions, Bears, what they're going to do. But I think there's some options out there this year with the Packers on offense that these teams may not have seen, and they could cause a little problem.
That opening week, not to get too far ahead, but you got a new head coach, new style of offense coming in, although it's kind of the Shanahan McVay.
You still got
yeah, exactly. But it's like Green Bay is also going to be a little bit different too, so it's not a whole lot of familiarity, although Patton and them are over there, but still a little different. So
yeah, it's
a little like a boxing match when you kind of dance around a little bit.
Very interesting season, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I like the fact that they're playing early in Minnesota, because that means the later game will be outside in Green Bay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm intrigued with this season, especially with the offense and the defense, because I really hope that they do live up to that hype and potential.
Oh yeah, we all do, and put a little more speed on the front seven.
Mm-hmm.
I think that'll make a big difference.
All right. What are you going to be watching for? Who are you going to be watching for? You can hit us up with some text, tweets, Facebook, comments on the video stream. That Shoe Doctor's bullpen texting line, 715-830-1912. We're going to take a quick break. We'll get back to some more of your comments. Plus, we've got, we got to bring it up. I'm sorry, but the Brewers got shellacked again last night. Must-win series stretch runs coming up here. We'll discuss.
180! 180!
The Dan Kasper Show will be right back.
When severe weather hits and the power goes out, do you have a plan? For reliable power and peace of mind, propane can do that. It only takes about 10 seconds for a propane-powered generator to restore power to your home. So no matter what Mother Nature has in store, you know you're prepared. Learn more at wipga.org. This message is sponsored by your local propane provider and the Wisconsin Propane Education and Research Council.
Get ready to save with half-off deals, a great way for you to get goods and services that you will love and you don't have to pay full price. Be sure to check out all the great savings that half-off deals have to offer. There's something for everyone, so be sure to see for yourself. Be ready with your credit or debit card and get ready to save. For more details and to find out about all the savings, just go to aroundthe715.com.
With the changing of the seasons, is that also getting you in the mood for changing up things around your home? But you probably got two questions on your mind. Where do I go to donate some items? And maybe where do I find some different items for my home? Easy. Chippewa Valley Habitat for Humanity Restore. You can do it all in one stop at the Chippewa Valley Habitat for Humanity Restore. You could donate your couch and decide to go with a couple of recliners that you found at the Restore to change up your look. And the best part of all this is that your donation and your purchase goes to helping fund home builds for families in our area. Habitat for Humanity is doing some amazing work in our area, and you can be a part of that too. Just visit cvh4h.org for more information and visit the Chippewa Valley Habitat for Humanity Restore at 145 North Claremont Avenue in Eau Claire. You'll never know what kind of treasures you can find at the Restore. And if you want to early look at some of the awesome stuff at the Restore, don't forget to like and follow the Chippewa Valley Habitat for Humanity Facebook page.
Hi, this is Matt LePay, voice of Badgers football and basketball. At this very moment, there are thousands of Wisconsin families impacted by Alzheimer's disease or dementia who need support. Who do they trust? The Alzheimer's Association. Caregiving can be an emotionally, physically, and financially draining role. The Alzheimer's Association provides education, care, and support to all those facing Alzheimer's and other dementia. The Alzheimer's Association is here all day, every day, through their free 24/7 helpline. One call, thousands of answers. If you have concerns about memory loss or other cognitive changes, or questions about caregiving, Alzheimer's diagnosis, and treatment or clinical trials, make that call today to 800-272-3900. Visit alz.org/WI.
Sponsored by the Alzheimer's Association Wisconsin chapter with funding by Oak Park Place Foundation.
Raise your hand if you've taken your vehicle to a bunch of different places to get your oil changed. Too many to count, right? You could probably start a scrapbook collection of all those stickers. You know, those stickers reminding you about the next time you need to get an oil change. Well, now you have your new go-to place. You'll never have to worry about trying to find another place for getting your oil changed. That's ASAP Used Auto Parts. See, I needed to get the oil changed in my truck. I had to get the truck ready for a trip to Green Bay so Hudson could see his first football game. And like their name says, it was done ASAP. Plus, they checked my tires and the rest of my fluids. Oil changes, tires, batteries, auto parts. ASAP Used Auto Parts does it all with the top-notch service. You can listen to me talk about ASAP Used Auto Parts for a long time, but tell you what, just experience it for yourself, all right? Because chances are you listening right now, you probably need an oil change too, or maybe some new tires. Just give ASAP Used Auto Parts a call, 715-514-4501.
The latest sports news, scores, opinion, and commentary. If that's not enough, you should seek professional help. The Dan Kasper Show.
River Country Co-op wants to help you put some gas in your tank. It's the River Country Co-op Cenex Small Town Gas Pass giveaway. The River Country Co-op Cenex Small Town Gas Pass giveaway of the week for this week. Just got today left because we're going to have some new stores next week. But if you get on over to the Sheldon or the Eau Claire 3rd Street locations, stop on in and register to win a $50 gas card, no purchase necessary. But, you're going to go in there and probably grab some snacks for the road or some beverages and all that good stuff. But we'll announce the winners for those two locations tomorrow morning, and then you'll find out where the next two spots are for River Country Co-op to potentially win $50 in gas. You mentioned with college and that, I've seen some schools are starting, kids are moving in. I think Marquette was move-in day the other day. We only got a few minutes, so let me ask you this there, big boy. If you could do it all over again, and you had to make a change in your career, what would you do differently? If you weren't going to be a farm broadcaster, what would you have done?
I'd have been a veterinarian.
Really?
But chemistry got
hated chemistry,
between me and the and just one of those things where, and I got a brother-in-law that's got a PhD in chemistry. and I struggled with chemistry. Even in high school, my ions and my atoms and my neutrons and all. It was just one of those things that I couldn't handle in a good enough form that I could have expanded. But I'd love to have been a veterinarian.
I hated math and science, so chemistry was the two evils combined into one. So I sucked at it. So I hated chemistry.
I didn't hate it. I just got frustrated that I couldn't do it because I'd look at all these other guys and gals, and they were going through, they might not all been A students, and, I got through with a C, but but the ones that got it, I thought, now you're listening to the same thing I am as far as the lectures and going through the labs. What am I missing?
Yeah.
And it just was frustrating because I'd have loved to have been a veterinarian.
I would have, I'd be a history teacher, I think.
Yeah. I liked history. I
love history. Would have liked to, I think, have been like a professor, history professor.
I had a high school friend that became a history professor, and it's unbelievable. You watch and listen to all these people that have written books on history on presidents and all the history of the conflicts around the world and all the things that went into it behind the scenes. That where do you get that? And how do you know what kind of a guy Robert E. Lee really was?
Right? Yeah.
It's the research is unbelievable, and I've always loved reading history and reading about these people. Not that he was a general of the Confederacy, but what made up Robert E. Lee, and just not just him, but all kinds of people through history. Dwight Eisenhower, I think, was a interesting guy to follow, and of course Patton, one of the most misunderstood generals. And I loved history as well. What motivated a guy like George Patton? It was history is fun.
Yep.
If you read it more than just for the chronological order of history, but why do we have this particular history?
Yep. I totally agree. I love it. And I would have started a class on sports history. So, yeah.
Well, that's the way things, look at all the things that are going on in sports now. You do more than watch the game. You got this fantasy football, which is absolutely out of control. And you've got, because there's so many different versions of it, when we talk to our man, we're going to talk to Eric here pretty soon. And, what's going on. And that's a career for him.
Yep.
Whoever thought something like that was going to happen. But it has happened, and you got to stay on top of it because sports is so much more now than it used to be. You watch the games, you watch the standings, you watch the playoffs and the championships. That was sports. Now, wow.
Yep. I would love, that's my bucket list. I want to teach one sports history class in my life. It'll never happen, but,
You never know. Maybe somebody from the university is listening. You never know.
I'm an alum, guys. Come on. Give me a break. Got a minor in history from you guys over there.
There you go.
WAYY Eau Claire, W286CK Eau Claire, Sports Talk 105.1 and 790 AM. Sports Talk 105.1 with the very latest local news.
The passenger in the truck that killed 3 Girl Scouts in Lake Hallie is out of prison after just a year behind bars. State's Department of Corrections yesterday informed a judge in Chippewa Falls that John Stender was released from prison. He was sentenced to 3 years plus 3 years probation for not saying anything after Colton True ran down the Scouts and one of their moms back in 2018. The father of one of the girls yesterday saying Stender's release is upsetting. True is serving a 54-year sentence for the girls' deaths. A Menominee City Council member is accused of threatening officers' jobs after they arrested him for drunk driving last week. Officers say Councilmember Lucas Chase told them he was going to call the chief after they stopped him for a burned-out taillight and then arrested him for OWI. It's Chase's first OWI arrest. Officers say Chase also called Menominee's mayor during the traffic stop, as the mayor yesterday said Chase didn't ask him for any favors. And those student loan wipeout plans, we heard it from the White House yesterday. President Biden unveiling his plan to cancel some federal student loan debt.
We will forgive $10,000 in outstanding federal student loans.
A University of Wisconsin-Madison professor Nick Hillman says President Biden faces pressure to do something with the midterms nearing.
I think the longer that this plays out, the more that the political opponents on the right are going to critique that and say this is not the way to go.
When it comes to the pause on student loan payments, that allegedly is extended, but for the last time.
Extended to December 31st, 2022, and it's going to end.
The details of that plan yet to be released. And it's a record. What were you doing at 17? A 17-year-old now, the youngest person to fly around the world alone. Mark, what about this guy?
Mac Rutherford landed in Bulgaria on Wednesday afternoon after completing his 5-month-long voyage across 52 countries and 5 continents. The British-Belgian national belongs to a family of aviators and at one point was the youngest pilot in the world at the age of 15. His latest solo trip earned him 2 Guinness World Records, not only for being the youngest person to fly around the globe solo, but also for being the youngest to do so in a microlight plane. I'm Mark Mayfield.
And ahead of planning for the Casper Classic tomorrow, people were talking about who's going to drive the golf cart, who's packing what, but let you in on a little secret. Casper isn't going to be in a golf cart this year. He's trying to win that belt so bad that he's going to be tooling around in
a microlight plane.
That's what I heard. For Sports Talk 105.1. I'm Morgan McCarthy.
In the wake of yesterday's showers and storms that dumped quite a bit of rain in some locations and not so much in others, we'll start to see a few clouds this morning, some patchy fog, but otherwise will clear out going into the afternoon, becoming mostly sunny later on with temperatures climbing to the mid to upper 70s. Later tonight, mostly clear with lows dipping to the low 50s before giving way to a bit of patchy fog tomorrow with sunny conditions and temperatures around the 80-degree mark. I'm Skywarn 13 meteorologist Mike Dandridge.
The Russian attacks in the Ukraine started 180 days ago, 6 months already, and it is having effect on agricultural production in a very fertile area. Let's take a look at some farm news this morning on Sports Talk 105.1. While the Russian army continues to pound Ukraine with artillery fire, farmers in Ukraine are still trying to farm their land and grow a crop, and the latest reports out of Ukraine say those farmers aren't doing too badly. Observers now say the corn crop will be about 5 million metric tons larger than earlier estimates, reaching about 30 million metric tons harvested. But that would still be a corn crop about 12% smaller than last year and a wheat crop that will be about 13% smaller. Former Minnesota Congressman Colin Peterson, who served in Congress for about 2 decades and spent most of that time as a key member of the House Agriculture Committee, is trying to make sure the Midwest will have a strong say in the next farm bill that's due next year. To do that, he's put together the Midwest Council on Agriculture with representatives from Minnesota, North and South Dakota, Nebraska, Iowa, Illinois, and Wisconsin. That group just had their first meeting to lay the groundwork for having input on that new bill. Peterson said he wants to model the group after a similar group in Texas, which is always called upon for input on farm policy in Congress. He's especially worried that with so many non-farm members of Congress, a new farm bill will cut many needed farm programs like crop insurance and commodity programs, as well as food and feeding programs for the poor. Well, every state has its special events at the state fair, and in Iowa, it's the Big Boar Contest this year. Because of hot weather, dry weather, there are only 2 entries, but they were big boys. Pee-wee won this year's contest, weighing in at 1,300 pounds, about 35 pounds short of the all-time record. That's a look at some farm news this morning on Sports Talk 105.1. I'm Bob Bosold.
Staples stores are a new world of possible with innovative tools for small business and remote workers and learners. Explore more at your local Staples store or staplesconnect.com.
Welcome to the Dan Kasper Show.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's the show that features serious, thought-provoking sports talk and insightful sports commentary.
You knew it!
In other words, it's the show where they all talk a crap load about sports.
Let's go for it!
Now let's introduce your host, a man who lives and breathes and has a passion for sports. A man who breaks everything down in the sports world and gives you everything you need to know. Plus a bunch of stuff you probably don't need, but you'll still enjoy it.
You can't handle the truth!
Here is your host, Dan Kasper.
Prime time! Prime time!
Second hour kicking off on this Thirsty Thursday. Good morning, everybody, and appreciate you tuning in wherever, however you're tuning in on this fine Thursday morning here in West Central Wisconsin. Who are you toasting on your Thirsty Thursdays? You can text those babies on over, tweet them, Facebook them, YouTube live stream them, all that fantastic stuff. Living a dream, Jeff. Morning, fellas. I'm not going to be able to watch all the game, no days off for preseason, but like you have been talking, safety, outside linebacker, running backs, and if Love can stack success from the last game, I would like to see a 2-minute drill run a little better with Love at the helm, living the dream. Keep your scouting reports, your assessments coming. What are you going to be watching for in the final tune-up for the regular season, the final preseason game tonight? Hit us up with those text tweets or Facebook messages. Before we get to some Brewers chat here, just a couple of sports nuggets of the day. Not a whole lot going on here. 1946, Ben Hogan won the PGA in Portland, Oregon. It was his first major golf title, 1946. 1985, Dwight Gooden became the youngest pitcher to win 20 Major League Baseball games in a season. So those are just a couple of your.
And he won't be in the Hall of Fame because he got under the influence. What a shame.
Biggest one of, if we made a list of what ifs in sports world, what ifs for Dwight Gooden kind of would have been like his career.
Darryl Strawberry,
you know.
2 unbelievable talents that unfortunately took the wrong path in a few areas.
Yep. You know, even like and then I wanted to bring this up with Ben Hogan too. You know, you think about some of the best golfers of all time. I feel like for a lot of people, you kind of forget about Ben Hogan, or just some casual, fans. When you think of your list, Tiger, Jack, Arnie. You know, if you want to go Sam Snead because he's got the most wins, Bobby Jones, the list goes on. But Ben Hogan, I mean, he won 9 championships. He won 71 times on the tour. We know about
majors,
we know about, his accident. Then the year later wins a major championship. So, I mean, Ben Hogan, it was more than just a name on those old golf clubs. And maybe some of us have played with those golf clubs back in the day.
And I wasn't around so much when Ben Hogan was playing, but you hear he was kind of surly guy from all the reports I got. And, that has an effect on how the media deals with you and the impression that the media can leave about a person. And I think Ben Hogan might have gotten pigeonholed as kind of an ornery guy, and he might have been. I don't know. I didn't know the guy, but as an ornery guy that was up for more Ben Hogan than he was for the good of the game, and you hear stories like that all the time. So that might be part of the reason his legacy isn't as bright as some of the other guys.
Yeah, I know he's got, he's like, I could picture his swing, and I think a lot of, when you think of iconic golf swing, Ben Hogan is one of those up there.
Oh, no question.
Isn't it weird? Like, I doubt Hogan switched or changed his swing too often, or Bobby Jones. Yet now it's like, how many times have we heard Tiger's changing his swing, or these golfers changing their swing? And
I think Tiger's tinkering with his game. I think it cost him.
Well, look at that stretch.
I think it cost him, because I think he was just absolutely had himself so confused. He had so many coaches and so many psychologists and so many people messing with him physically and mentally. I think he just lost it still as great as he was, but he was far and away the best player. And he thought, well, I'm going to get better. Well, I appreciate that thought, but I don't think he went about it the right way. I mean, he's iconic. You talk about the best players for years. When they talk about the best players to ever play the game, Tiger's name is going to be right up there. So it's not like he went into the outhouse. He just, lost some of that excellence that he had.
The 5 lessons from Ben Hogan. I don't know if you're familiar with some of those, but the fundamentals. Hogan explains that the average golfer underestimates themselves, he believes. So this should give us motivation here now, in turn, for what he says right here.
Yeah, I want to see a lot of good play tomorrow.
He believes that beginners place too much emphasis on the long game. If you have correct, powerful, and a repeating swing, then you can shoot in the 70s. The average golfer is entirely capable of building and repeating a swing and breaking 80. All right. Ben Hogan says we can break 80 on an 18-hole course.
If you're coordinated at all. I mean, I look at some people's swings and I mean, you can't fix them because they're so embedded in being so far off. But I think the average player that plays and has a decent swing, I agree with him.
Yep.
Because I know my mindset, and I haven't swung a golf club yet this year, but my mindset when I was playing all the time, I'd get into ruts and this, that, and the other thing. But then I'd go to a golf tournament. I'd go to a pro tournament, whether it be a major or at that time, the Greater Milwaukee Open or some of those tournaments. And after I'd go to those tournaments and watch these guys play, I'd come back and play golf, and I'd play so much better because I had their timing and their tempo in my mind, and I'd try that, and it worked. And then the further we got away from those tournaments and my mind wandered a little bit, then I got back into the ruts of, trying to swing too hard. Then your left side breaks down and all of a sudden you're 3 inches behind the ball. And so I believe what he says.
I won't go through everything, but he also said with the grip, good golf begins with a good grip. Without a good grip, one cannot play to his or her potential. So make sure you got that correct grip right there. This is the one thing for me that always screws me up with golf, or it did when I was trying to get better. I've just given up on that now. But like I'm looking at, they got a diagram of like his positioning of his feet. But that would be like one thing growing up of like, okay, I got to emulate this person. I got to emulate this person. I'm going to, I'm reading Tiger's book. Okay, I got to do it this way. There's so many different variations of it that it gets in your mind so much and you start to overthink and all that. And it's like, holy crap. It's like a baseball swing sometimes or stance. Yeah, and it's like, I think sometimes that does more harm than good instead of just trying to find your own unique style.
Yeah, and you watch this, and if you watch the Golf Channel and all the lesson programs that they have, and the average person doesn't associate. I don't anyway. Associate a lot of the intricate things in a golf swing.
Mm-hmm.
I just want somebody to maybe help me. Okay, take it back. You're taking it back too steep. You're taking it back inside. You're taking it back outside. This, that, and everything. What's the plane to take it back? And do I go to parallel or do I not go to parallel? And, what's the move you need to make when you start your downswing? I mean, just basic things like that. They get a little intricate if you're trying to watch it and comprehend on the Golf Channel some of those for the good golfers and the better golfers, that's fine. But for the average guy, some of those shows are a little bit involved.
Yeah, looks like he advocated for a little bit of a waggle at the backswing. So I might have to see if I have to get a waggle at the back. Says it helps loosen your muscles, so I might have to try that out. I don't know if he's like Jim Furyk level waggle. You know what that is at the top.
Yeah,
Holy moly, that thing is like. I think Spieth is trying to do something. I mean, it's but
every once in a while, I think I've got a waggle, and I don't try to have a waggle. That's the problem. It's muscle memory is what it is. You know, you play enough, you get muscle memory, and that swing goes through. I mean, if you don't play at all, that's why I think I'm gonna play the first time on Saturday.
The first time all year?
I haven't got my clubs out yet. First time all year. So I think I'm gonna play 9 holes on Saturday. And I can just, I'm thinking, well, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And I know when I get on the golf course, I'm going to see that ball. I'm going to say, I got to hit this thing hard. And so I'll be all over the lot. But it's good exercise. And at this point in time, for a long time, I've realized I'm never going to make my living playing golf. So I might as well just go out and have fun and get the exercise and enjoy it, which I hope most people do.
Yep. Definitely. I've definitely changed my mindset when it's come to golf. Now it's just like, I don't take it too seriously anymore.
No, I play well enough to get around the golf course, and
although I'm busting out the magic for tomorrow.
Oh, you really?
I took down the high school golf polo, and I'm going to be donning that tomorrow to get a little high school magic back in there.
Still fits?
I tried it on yesterday. It still fits. It's like 150% cotton, so I might get a little sweaty out there, but.
Well, if it's 150% cotton, you got quite an outfit there.
I haven't decided if I should bust out the old high school golf bag that has my name on it.
Oh, I would. That's an intimidation factor.
Right? Yeah,
absolutely.
The name. It's all red, so it's
There
really obnoxious.
Absolutely. That's what you got to do. And when you're playing in a tournament like that, any advantage you can get, take it.
You know what, too? Because apparently I found out the other day, Hello Wisconsin's going to be out there. So you're not the only one who'll be on TV tomorrow. This guy will be on TV.
Well, good.
So if I'm on the putting green, I have that bag position perfectly with the name.
There you go.
Intimidation.
Well, the idea is to watch that cameraman, see where he's coming from, and adjust yourself and your game accordingly.
Yep. It might be dark when I'm putting, but it's like, Caddyshack, night putting.
There you go. Classic.
I love it. So, it wasn't a classic last night, though. Brewers.
Oh, gee.
I mean, good.
I started
Lord,
watching that, and I didn't watch it real long.
Adrian Hauser. It's that I don't know what's going on with him. First,
the whole staff, staff. I just think this team as a group, they're professional athletes. Shouldn't be. I still think they're in shock over the Hader trade. We're playing for a championship, and you trade one of our best guys away and get nothing in return. I think there's a level of disbelief that happened. I really do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's, I don't know. It's weird because you're looking at the Padres too, and they stink right now. They can't win a game. That's what's allowing the Brewers to still kind of be in this. They're still 1.5 back. Padres bring in Juan Soto and Bell, and Hader hasn't performed well for them either over there. But, I know you can factor in the Tatis Jr. thing, but they were still stinking it up before the announcement of Tatis Jr. But this might be 2 years in a row now where the Padres started off really well, and they're going to miss the postseason potentially. But back to the Brewers, I think this stretch now, they got the off day today, but you're at home against Cubbies, Pittsburgh, then you're on the road against Arizona and Colorado. You're back home against the Giants and the Reds. Those are must-win series. Not saying you got to win every single game, but you got to win those series.
But the way they've been playing, they couldn't win the Northern League.
But I'm saying if you want any chance to try to get it, you got to win these.
Oh,
now.
Absolutely, no question about it.
You can't be dwaddling your thumbs and just like, we got time. Time's running out now, for crying out loud.
Well,
you got to get on a hot streak.
It's not just you. It's the Cardinals. Cardinals aren't backing up.
No. I'm looking at wild card now. I'm like, division's over with.
Yeah, the division's done. But and last week I wouldn't say that, but watching they just can't get it together as a team. And what we thought the beginning of the season was going to be their strength has not been their strength, the pitching. I mean, Corbin Burns got lit up like a Christmas tree. And last night was just unbelievable. And so, it's I don't know how they're going to turn it around. I'd love it if they did, but I don't see how, because they've been trending this way for quite a while, ever since the Hader trade.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They'll be talking about it all offseason if they don't make it the postseason or make a deep run in the postseason.
And I haven't seen it. Maybe I just missed it. You follow it more than I do. But why? And I think the media covering the Milwaukee Brewers should be chastised for not calling Counsell on the carpet, Stearns on the carpet, even Atanasio. What are you doing?
Well,
what's the reason for that? I haven't heard any reason at all for the Hader trade or what they hope to accomplish, because what they got in return, they were in the mix. When they traded Hader, they were in first or within a game of first place in the division, and they just lost it. No.
Yeah, I mean, Atanasio talked to the media afterwards. He did media sessions. David Stearns did do a couple of them too. So,
but what were the questions they asked?
I mean, they asked about the Hader stuff. I mean, I don't know off the top of my head. I'd have to go, but they did go and face the media and talk about the Hader trade and that, and we played the clips a couple weeks ago and that sort of thing. So, I mean, they did address it. They talked about it. Whether you liked the answers or not, that's a different question over there. But, for Atanasio, I mean, he kind of deflected and kept saying, you'll have to ask David. But Atanasio did say finances had nothing to do with it. They had enough money. They had enough money to bring on Juan Soto if they wanted, he said.
That's what I mean. So why wasn't Stearns called on the carpet more? And, I just I didn't hear his answers, but it sure didn't bring much press.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, they actually brought in more money with those trades. Their payroll went up with the moves that they made, even with trading Counsell,
which makes the trade even stupider in my mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, but no, I mean, Stearns did do a couple media sessions and that, and I know Atanasio, they faced the music, but I mean, Stearns said, we certainly care about winning the criticism number two, that they care more about making the playoffs than winning the World Series. David Stearns addressed that, saying we certainly care about winning the World Series. Consistent competitiveness leads to a World Series. That is how you win a World Series, is you give yourself as many chances in the playoffs as you can possibly have. We believe that. I think that is the right approach. It is the approach that I have tried to set this organization up for since my time here. We are trying to avoid the boom or bust cycle. We want this organization this year, next year, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, 7 years from now, that when fans come and watch a Brewers game, that they are watching a meaningful game. They are watching a game in a team that can and does go to the playoffs, and a team that has a legitimate chance to win a World Series. That is our goal with our moves, and I believe our fans share that goal. Probably not, but he asked again why they didn't do enough, why they didn't get a bat. Stearns' response: we were engaged with a number of players the day before the deadline and the day of the deadline that had we been able to pull off a deal, our payroll would have gone up even further. And ultimately, we didn't make those deals because I made a decision that the talent asked was too high. But we had payroll flexibility to do so if we had deemed talent ask appropriate.
I guess, why did he see the need to trade Hader? I mean, if the Atanasio said the money was there, why was he getting rid of Hader, an all-star, one of the best relievers in baseball, for what he got back? That's what I don't understand, is why he made that trade now. He had Hader for another year. He could do it next year at this time, because teams that are in the playoffs are still going to want to receive a reliever that can shut a game down. And the timing of it, the financial aspect of it, the needs the Brewers have, I don't think any of those things were met.
Asked why he didn't wait until winter to trade Hader for prospects, Stearns responded, I think history has taught us that oftentimes there is additional leverage created by a trade deadline midseason where there is scarcity of supply, particularly for players like Josh, and sometimes that scarcity may not exist in the offseason. So,
but why not next midseason? And I know he's going to say, well, it's close to the end of his contract. Teams would have known we couldn't sign him, and they'd have held us up. But it just doesn't wash for me.
Then you ask him.
I'd like to have a chance to ask him.
Yeah. So I mean, it's going to be assessed, and criticism that they shouldn't have traded Hader. Period. David's or
I'm not saying that.
No, I'm just kind of going. I'm not. I'm just saying. I'm reading out loud right now. I didn't say you said that.
No, because if you're going to trade a guy like that, get something in return. That's what I'm saying.
His response to that, he didn't get enough in return. They said that, where'd it go? Yeah. Stearns defended the additions of Robert Gosser, now Milwaukee's number 8 prospect and outfielder Ruiz. I can never say his name. I'm not even going to attempt to say it. Ruiz. They are very two high ceiling prospects, and there are 2 prospects who are at upper levels of our minor leagues. And that is, I think, also important here. They're not at rookie ball, A-ball players, and we've made significant trades during my time here for rookie ball, A-ball players. But in this case, we thought bringing back players who are closer to major leagues and have the ability to impact this to the near future was important, and that's what we did. So, paraphrasing, he looked like he targeted players that were in AAA as opposed to single rookie A, guys who could contribute sooner rather than potentially later. So,
but trading a guy like Hader for these guys, they better contribute a lot.
Gosser was a pitcher that we targeted out of the 21 draft. We know him exceptionally well. He is someone who's in AA now and can move fast from AA, and we believe can be very effective. Ruiz is arguably the most exciting prospect riser in minor league baseball this year. He has had a tremendous season. He's one of the fastest players in minor league baseball and is beginning to develop some power. Is a tremendous kid. And so adding those 2 types of high upside, high level talents to our organization, in addition to bringing in someone with a pedigree, an all-star closer in Taylor Rogers, is why we made the deal. With all that said, I understand why there's still some frustration losing Josh Hader, because he is well known to our fan base and he has played an important role in a lot of meaningful moments here. So, as David Stearns from a couple weeks ago.
It's a done deal. So nothing you do about it is express your frustration, and I hope going forward, being a fan, that these guys do develop. I just, the timing and the return, because the Brewers were in the fight, and I say were because I don't have the feeling like that they're still in the fight for the pennant. If they have a September like they did a couple of years ago when Yelich was hurt, they won about 19 or 20 games out of 25 or something like that. Then that changes everything, but I don't think this team is equipped to do that.
No, I mean, I don't have a whole lot of faith that they're going to be able to do anything, win postseason. Even if they get to postseason, they ain't doing anything. So, my enthusiasm has gone down.
Yeah, and
I
hate
guess to be that way, but
I do too. But I guess we talked about, you got your big 3, you got Burns, Woodruff, and Peralta. But you look at how those guys have pitched recently. Peralta's just coming back, but they've been a long way from Cy Young candidates.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they just haven't been good. If they would make it, I don't know if they make the playoffs. They've got hopefully pitching that could come back, but right now I don't think they've got pitching that can save them as far as trying to win that division.
Mm-hmm. All right, we got to. I didn't realize we're already at the bottom of the hour. We're gonna have to do a little receiver defer coming up here. So, tell you what. Yeah, we'll take a quick break. Then we'll have a short break. Then we'll get into receiver defer. So we'll do that. We need somebody to keep time on us here. Get off track here a little bit. All right, we'll be back after these quick words.
You're listening to the Dan Kasper Show.
The Shoe Doctor is known for quality footwear. Remember, the Shoe Doctor can keep your feet comfortable during all the different outdoor weather and activities here in the Chippewa Valley. Work boots, casual shoes, sandals, and more from brands you trust like Keen, Merrill, Chaco, and Dansko, and that's just to name a few. Located on Claremont Avenue in Eau Claire, you can also visit them online at ShoeDoctorFootwear.com. The Shoe Doctor. quality footwear for work, sport, and fun.
Hi, this is Matt LePay, voice of Badgers football and basketball. At this very moment, there are thousands of Wisconsin families impacted by Alzheimer's disease or dementia who need support. Who do they trust? The Alzheimer's Association. Caregiving can be an emotionally, physically, and financially draining role. The Alzheimer's Association provides education, care, and support to all those facing Alzheimer's and other dementia. The Alzheimer's Association is here all day, every day, through their free 24/7 helpline. One call, thousands of answers. If you have concerns about memory loss or other cognitive changes, or questions about caregiving, Alzheimer's diagnosis and treatment, or clinical trials, make that call today to 800-272-3900 or visit alz.org/WI.
Sponsored by the Alzheimer's Association Wisconsin chapter with funding by Oak Park Place Foundation.
Get ready to save with half-off deals, a great way for you to get goods and services that you will love and you don't have to pay full price. Be sure to check out all the great savings that half-off deals have to offer. There's something for everyone, so be sure to see for yourself. Be ready with your credit or debit card and get ready to save. For more details and to find out about all the savings, just go to aroundthe715.com.
Fall is fast approaching. Football, leaves falling, cooler nights and mornings, and hunting season. It's time to get ready for hunting season, people. You've waited all winter, spring, and summer for this, and Tilden Gun has been waiting for you. You looking for a shotgun for turkey, duck, or bird hunting? How about a new rifle for deer or bear hunting? Tilden Gun has the best selection in the area and at the best prices. Tilden Gun is your best spot to get ready for the upcoming 2022 hunting season. I know from experience. I've gotten my new turkey shotgun and my new deer rifle from Tilden Gun. And I ain't kidding when I said it was the best price that I found. You want to talk about the selection? Tilden Gun easily had the best selection of firearms. I can't tell you how many people have told me that Tilden Gun was the only place that could find the certain firearm they were looking for. So what the heck are you waiting for? Visit tildengun.com to look for your new hunting firearm today.
Stand by as we continue our dig for the truth and the toy at the bottom of the cereal box. Oh, got it. The Dan Kasper Show.
We got another conspiracy theory when it comes to maybe Flugate or food poisoning gate that's not Jordan related now, though.
What's that?
So the Eagles and Dolphins were doing some joint practicing. They've now called it off because of a non-COVID issue. Food poisoning has not been ruled out. Eagles aren't dealing with any of it. It's the Dolphins right now. So a little, but it's at the Dolphins. So who food poisoned their own team, for crying out loud? I mean, come on.
I get
what did Philly fan Dave's Eagles team do to the Dolphins down there?
I don't know. Get Ace Ventura on the case down there.
Nice pull. I'm proud of you for thinking of that one. Nice one right there. Nice cultural reference. So
there you go.
Oh boy. Let's do a quick update on where everything stands for Major League Baseball and with the standings here. Let me bring it up here. Not a whole lot has obviously changed because some teams were so far out ahead. Houston still doing their thing. Yankees, even with some of their struggles, but they've won 3 in a row now. Cleveland leading their division. Tampa Bay, Toronto, and Seattle are all the wild card teams. Minnesota on a 5-game losing streak right now is just falling. The Twinnies, they're 4 back from that last wild card spot. Baltimore, 2.5 back. The White Sox also 4 back. If you're looking at the division, Minnesota and the White Sox are still 4 back from Cleveland in the AL Central. National League, Dodgers, I mean, come on, they're doing their thing. You got the Mets, you got St. Louis, obviously, but that NL East is getting a little bit more interesting because the Mets are holding on to just a 1.5 game lead over the Atlanta Braves, who are 8-2 in their last 10.
Boy, that was earlier this season. That was 10, 12 games or better.
Yep. So they've won 3 in a row. Philadelphia has won 3 in a row, but Philadelphia is in that wild card spot right now, the second wild card spot. And as we mentioned, San Diego holding on to that last spot, but the Brewers 1.5 back. San Francisco would be the next team 5.5 back. Then it drops all the way down to Arizona at 10.5 back. So that's kind of where your standings are right now. Would you, if you had to pick a World Series matchup now, would you put the Astros over the Yankees to represent the AL?
Right now, because of the way the trend is right now, but who knows? By the time we get into the middle of September, that could change. But the Dodgers are pretty good.
Yeah, Dodgers, I think, yeah, Dodgers. Although I think if Dodgers end up playing the Mets or even, I guess, Atlanta at this point, I think that'd be a good series potentially. Dodgers and Braves would be a lot of storylines with the Freddie Freeman thing.
Oh, man, would that ever. If the Dodgers and the Braves got in the National League Championship, the pennant race right there. Yep.
Yeah, they would. That would be the big storyline. But
you know, that story, when it happens, it happens. But, you know, he went out there and it never really bubbled over into, you know, bad blood or anything like that. I guess Freddie Freeman is such a good guy that he would never blame Atlanta for what they did. He just went them out, said, well, they did what they thought they had to do. And you know, that's another thing about Hader. Has Hader said a word since he's been traded out there?
I know he talked right after the trade, but I haven't heard anything as of late or anything.
Yeah,
like
I haven't
that,
either.
but
I haven't heard anything at all. But anyway, I think too right now the World Series, Houston and the Dodgers. But boy, the Dodgers and Atlanta in the National League pennant race playoff would be really interesting.
I'd like I mean, Mets I think would be interesting too if their pitching staff can stay healthy.
And don't sleep on the Cardinals. I mean, really and truly.
Think Pujols is going to get 700 before the season's done?
No.
He's at 693 right now.
I don't think he's going to do it. I mean, we're at the end of August. I don't think he's going to do it. I hope it'd be nice if he did. I'm not against the guy in any way, shape, or form. I just don't think he will. I think he's in one of those hot streaks right now where he's getting a bunch. But I hope he does. But if I had to make a bet, I'd say no.
Dude is you're talking hot stretch. His last 85 at bats, 388 with an 812 slugging and 10 home runs. Heck, if you want to narrow it down to his last 41 at bats, his slugging is a 1.049. Somebody put a little something in his drink and found the fountain of
he's
youth.
on a streak. There's no question about it. And I hope he, you know, he's a Cardinal playing against the Brewers, all that stuff. But as a player, I think he's done it the right way. He's just been a great player, and I'd love to see him get there, but I just don't think he can.
Man, I mean, if you would have said Albert Pujols this year, and I get it, it's just 210 at bats, but if you'd have said, I'll give you, you know, let's say 300 some at bats when it's all done, but right now he's batting 276 on the year and 14 home runs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he didn't start. I mean, and it's just come on lately.
Yeah.
So if he's going to get hot here at the end of the season, he's a big reason why, you know, they beat the Cubs 1-0 the other day. He hit a home run. You know, Goldschmidt, Arenado, it's been Pujols.
Man. Sure you want to retire after this year, Albert?
Well, that's what you know, and the thought crossed my mind, you know, receiver defer. If he's at 695, 696, 697, the Cardinals will offer him another, you know, a lot lesser money contract to come back until he gets 700.
He said he's not doing it, but he said he's not. But I mean, come on, if you're at 699,
you got to come back.
You got to at least come back.
696, 690. You got to come back.
You can retire halfway through as soon as you get 700 or something like that.
Hit your 700 home run, especially if you're at home.
Be selfish.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I don't think anybody's, you know, nobody considers Albert Pujols a selfish player.
No.
He's been a great player. He's been a great role model. Never been a complainer. He's done what he's been asked to do to the best of his ability. if he hits a 700 home run in St. Louis, even this season, if he does, and I'd like to see him get there. If he hits a 700 home run in St. Louis, if I were him, I'd go around the bases.
Take your time.
I'd stand at home plate, and I'd say goodbye. But he won't do that because the Cardinals are in the pennant race. But what a way would that be to leave?
He's I think one of those players, like, he just didn't, I don't like him because he's so good, but I respect the hell out of him. If he wasn't in my division, it's like Luke and I were talking yesterday about the Lions. It's like, I want to like the Lions, and maybe if they weren't in my division, I'm kind of rooting for, because I've been watching Hard Knocks, and Jamal Williams is over there. Obviously, Dan Campbell has some goofy stuff that he says, but it's like, they're such a lovable team, but they're in my division that can't root for them.
Yeah,
they
give us enough problems. Yeah, I know. They give us enough problems.
Yeah, but all right, we'll do some receiver defer. So we'll do that break and then finish up the second hour with some receive or defer. We might have to change that up now if Bob's going to be all about deferring.
Not yet.
Not yet. All right, we'll see. We'll be back after these words.
Got a take on today's topics but can't call in? Then hit us up on Facebook, Twitter, or the text line and let your fingers do the talking.
With the changing of the seasons, is that also getting you in the mood for changing up things around your home? But you probably got two questions on your mind. Where do I go to donate some items? And maybe where do I find some different items for my home? Easy. Chippewa Valley Habitat for Humanity Restore. You can do it all in one stop at the Chippewa Valley Habitat for Humanity Restore. You could donate your couch and decide to go with a couple of recliners that you found at the Restore to change up your look. And the best part of all this is that your donation and your purchase goes to helping fund home builds for families in our area. Habitat for Humanity is doing some amazing work in our area, and you can be a part of that too. Just cvh4h.org for more information, and visit the Chippewa Valley Habitat for Humanity Restore at 145 North Claremont Avenue in Eau Claire. You'll never know what kind of treasures you can find at the Restore. And if you want to early look at some the stuff at the don't forget to like and follow the Chippewa Valley Habitat for Humanity Facebook page.
Hi, this is Matt LePay, voice of Badgers football and basketball. At this very moment, there are thousands of Wisconsin families impacted by Alzheimer's disease or dementia who need support. Who do they trust? The Alzheimer's Association. Caregiving can be an emotionally, physically, and financially draining role. The Alzheimer's Association provides education, care, and support to all those facing Alzheimer's and other dementia. The Alzheimer's Association is here all day, every day, through their free 24/7 helpline. One call, thousands of answers. If you have concerns about memory loss or other cognitive changes, or questions about caregiving, Alzheimer's diagnosis and treatment, or clinical trials, make that call today to 800-272-3900 or visit alz.org/WI.
Sponsored by the Alzheimer's Association Wisconsin chapter with funding by Oak Park Place Foundation.
Your favorite golf outing is back. The second annual Kasper Classic, benefiting Backyard Dreams, will be happening on August 26th at Princeton Valley Golf Course in Eau Claire. For just $90, you get a two-person team that includes 9 holes of golf, a cart, 6 free drink tickets, and a lunch. This year, we have 2 sessions teeing off for a shotgun start. Tee time at 10:30 a.m. and 1 o'clock p.m. So give Princeton Valley a call at 715-834-3334 to sign up and pick your session before it fills up. The Kasper Classic benefits Sports Talk 105.1's charitable entity, Backyard Dreams. The 5 goals for Backyard Dreams are to provide and promote opportunities for anyone to have a chance to play, to help anyone overcome obstacles to chase their dreams, to help raise awareness for those in need, to help create opportunities for those to enjoy their passions, and to help those enjoy their life and create special memories. So sign up for the Kasper Classic today. Visit sportstalk1051.com for more details.
I was 53, divorced, and ready to get back out there. I was unsure about dating sites, but I signed up for Silver Singles and quickly met Lily.
Mark and Lily rediscovered the romance they deserve on Silver Singles, the secure dating site for 50-plus singles who know what they want.
Lily's a lover of the great outdoors like me, and we instantly connected over it.
If you're like Mark and want to rediscover that feeling, sign up today at silversingles.com/love. That's silversingles.com/love.
Sports. You love it. We love it. And quite frankly, I don't trust anyone who doesn't love it. Do you?
Is that a serious question?
The Dan Kasper Show.
Coming up at 8:30, we'll do the Carpet City Flooring Center outdoor tidbit. Catch up with our good friend, Mr. Jake Boakes. He'll be on his way to your former town, Madison. So, but he'll check in and answer a couple questions quick from our listeners for our quick tidbit, outdoor tidbit, Carpet City Flooring Center. I'm going to start things off. It's not really a receiver defer, but it's kind of like a pick. Whose career would you rather have? Ken Griffey Jr., Miguel Cabrera, or Albert Pujols?
Wow, you can't lose with any of them. You know, you and I have talked about this a lot. We both think Ken Griffey, stayed healthy, would have been the greatest player in history of the game with all his skills and abilities. But it didn't happen that way. Boy, that's a tough question. But I'm still going to say Ken Griffey. I just love the way he played ball and the ability he had. The guys, you know, Cabrera has kind of just been in neutral the last few years. Going to the Tigers was probably the worst thing he's done. But and he's over 3,000 hits, Hall of Famer, no problem. Pujols, we've been talking about him, you know, one of the greatest right-handed hitters of all time, as is Mickey Cabrera. But I'm going to say Ken Griffey Jr.
I'm glad it was tough. I'm going to go through some of these accolades, if you will. It kind of caught me off guard. Ken Griffey Jr. won MVP just once in his career.
Yeah.
13-time All-Star, 3-time Home Run Derby champ, 10-time Gold Glove, 7-time Silver Slugger, and of course All-Star MVP. Then 630 career home runs. Pujols has 3 MVPs, Rookie of the Year, 11-time All-Star, 2 Gold Glove, 6-time Silver Slug, 2 World Series titles, also has a batting title, home runs, 693. Cabrera, 2-time MVP, has that Triple Crown, 1-time World Series champ, 12-time All-Star, 7-time Silver Slugger, 4-time batting champ. But home runs, 506.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Don't want
no, I mean, you can't go wrong in the 3. I mean, you look for all the accolades. Pujols would be the one.
Yeah.
And
legacy, would you say Griffey's got the bigger legacy? Just there's a what if, but yet he put up great numbers, but it's like he would have put up even better numbers if he would have just stayed healthy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's no question about that his numbers would have been off the charts. I think he'd be the all-time home run leader. I think he, I just think as a pure baseball player, I think Griffey was the best. Griffey, then Pujols, then Cabrera. Cabrera is a hitter. Pujols was a pretty good defender when he was younger, and Griffey was outstanding as center fielder. But I'd rank him Griffey, Pujols, and Cabrera if I had to pick careers.
I wouldn't argue with that. But if you had Pujols, I probably wouldn't argue with that either.
No. I mean, like we've been talking about Pujols, is he going to get to 700 home runs? I don't think so there, but I'd sure like to see him come back until he did.
Surveyor asked, is Pujols one of the most underrated players in Major League Baseball history?
I don't think he's underrated. I think he gets a lot of credit for what he's done. I mean, he's probably not ever going to be compared to, the Willie Mays, the Hank Aaron's, his right-handed power hitters. But thing is, back when those guys were playing, the media was focused on baseball. The media is not focused on baseball now. The media is focused on football and basketball and the NBA and college. And, you look at, where do you rank the media as far as their interest in baseball? NFL?
NFL's 1.
Yeah.
I'd say college football.
I was going to say college football is 2.
Yep.
NBA is 3. College basketball probably gets more. Baseball might be 5th as far as media importance or media involvement in the sport.
And I think
So
with
I think that's
college,
part of it.
you factor in the whole transfer NIL stuff that's getting the attention.
Yep.
Talk with that.
Putting it more media
Yep.
limelight.
Yeah. I think that's a factor into it. I mean, heck, Nick Saban just got another contract extension, for crying out loud.
Yeah, he's good till 2030 when he'll be about 85 years. He'll be Joe Paterno.
Right?
Yeah.
So, but no, I would agree with that ranking there.
And I think
Yep.
that's part of the reason that Pujols doesn't get more, because let's face it, when Mickey Mantle and, Willie Mays, Hank Aaron, those guys were Sandy Koufax, I mean, and the list goes on and on and on. Those guys were playing. Baseball was the focus. I mean, that was it. They had how many writers covered all those things, and now they don't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That stretch, though, that Pujols, when he first came into the league.
Oh, it was unbelievable.
Holy moly. I mean, 2001, his first year. These are just the amount of home runs he hit in every single year. 2001, 37, 34, 43, 46, 41, 49, 32, 37, 47, 42, 37, 30. That was his first 11 years. First 11 years, his home run numbers every single year.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's, it's one
machine.
He's one of those guys. If he's not, because he has not caused any off-field problems, he's had a stable off-the-field life. Some writers will criticize a player for whatever. I think, what, was Jeter or Mariano Rivera?
Mariano was a unanimous.
Yeah,
Yep.
and if Pujols isn't the second unanimous, there's something wrong. They should take your computer away or your typewriter or whatever if you're a writer with a vote and you do not vote Albert Pujols into the Hall of Fame on the first ballot. I mean, some of the logic of these writers and things, they should have their credentials pulled.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous.
His batting average. So he began his career in 2001. Last one here. I know you got some receiver defers. What was his first season that he didn't hit 300? Finished the season with a 300 or higher batting average.
I have no idea, but I know he did it all at the plate.
So his first season where he didn't hit 300 was 2011.
And he started in 2001?
And he hit 299 in 2011.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. I mean, we're talking 329, 314, 359, 331, 330. Ridiculous. The lowest he had in that 300 stretch was 312.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, that's pre-shift.
Yeah.
You wonder, would the shift make a difference? Because let's face it, he's kind of like Joe Torre. If you remember Joe Torre, he won playing for St. Louis. He won the National League batting title one year playing for St. Louis. Well, they timed him from home to first base with a sundial. He was, one of the slowest guys ever. So he didn't get any scratch hits or infield hits or things like that. And Pujols the same way. He's not a fast runner. So how much the shift might have made a difference for, Joe Torre, he won it, and the years that Pujols won it. So how many years he would have batted over 300 with a shift? He'd have still been, if not very, very close, because he's that great a hitter.
Yeah.
But
Man.
yeah, one of the best ever. There's no question.
I'm looking at his OPS numbers through that stretch too, and it's like, good Lord.
Yeah, isn't that something?
Yeah. And where baseball's at now.
Yeah, exactly.
What'd you have for a receiver defer? Did you have any over there?
Yeah, I do, as a matter of fact. Receiver defer. The Milwaukee Brewers will not finish with a record of 500 or better.
I'll defer that.
All right, I'm receiving it.
You think they'll go under 500?
Yep.
Ooh.
I just think they're close enough now. There are enough games left, and the trend they're on right now, I hope I'm wrong, but that's my feel right now.
65 and 58.
Yep.
Overall record.
Mm-hmm.
They won't get 90 anymore.
Oh, no.
I ain't gonna do that. So,
No.
But no, I think they'll. I think they get over 500.
Oh, I hope you're right. All right, and this one goes back to high school.
Oh boy.
And with the high school football games, with moving Rice Lake into the Middle Border Conference, taking them out of the Big Rivers. They beat Menominee last week.
Yeah, they did.
They go up against Superior. They're going to go into the Middle Border Conference against Duran, Mondovi, schools like that. Receiver defer. The WIA should listen more to member schools in this conference realignment.
Oh, I would receive that.
Yeah, I just and I talked to people in Rice Lake. They said, well, after this year, they're going to appeal to get back in the Big Rivers.
Yeah.
They know they're the smallest school, but they're competitive, and not just in football. They're competitive in basketball and track and golf and all those other sports as well. And so, they oppose this thing, but the WIA, and I don't know if it's the Board of Control and this, that, and the other thing, you got to look at more than just mileage and enrollment, things like that. The tradition at Rice Lake has been excellence as far as athletics. And so, yeah, I wish the WIAA would be, and I know there are other schools that have been moved around and haven't been happy either. You're taking away some of the traditional grudges, so to speak, in games by moving some teams to conferences that they have no ties at all with some of the schools they're in. So I would hope that WIA would do it.
Mm-hmm. No, I would. Yeah, I would agree with that. So, let's go with. Do you have any more?
Yeah. Well, I got one.
Yeah, go for it.
Well, receiver defer. The Packers and the Brewers have kind of the same philosophy as far as building their teams. They're more receiver defer. The Packers and the Brewers are alike. That their philosophy is more, let's be competitive. More important to be competitive than win championships.
I'll defer that, but if you would have said a few years ago with Ted Thompson there, then I would have received. That's how I would have gone. So,
yeah.
What's your answer?
Until I'm hoping this year changes my opinion of what the Packers are doing. I think they're finally getting to the point where we're here to win a championship. We've had two great quarterbacks for 30 years. We've only got two. That's enough. We got to get to the promised land.
I got one. So the MLB schedule came out. There's a new twist to it. Did you hear about this?
Well, they're playing every team.
Yes. So no longer is each team's slate significantly skewed toward division opponents. Instead, the schedules will feature more variety. For the first time in modern MLB history, every team will play every other team at some point. This altered schedule structure will have significant effects on the postseason and the product. So what do you think? Like that, receive or defer?
My initial reaction is to defer it. Again, it goes back to something like the high school realignment. I mean, your division is the most important. I mean, why doesn't the NFL say, well, we're only going to play one game against your division opponent so you can play more of the other teams? I think the division is most important. That's where most of the games should be played. I don't know what the reasoning is for that, to play every team. Because you can't play them all home and home, can you? Where there aren't that many games.
So yeah.
Yeah, and I just, so what's fair? I don't know. I'm going to defer that. I don't. Initial responses, I don't like it.
It says, why has MLB moved to a balanced schedule with the postseason format having already been expanded in 2022 to include 3 wildcard spots in each league? It is more important for teams across each league to play more similar schedules. All wins and losses are counted the same, so a more balanced schedule conceivably limits the advantage a team from a weak division has over a team from a deep division in the wildcard race. You buying that?
No.
And but there's also entertainment value.
Well, there is that. I mean, you bring the Dodgers. I mean, the Yankees are coming to Milwaukee here in the middle of September. I'm going to get on and watch one of those games, and there's no question that there's entertainment value in Aaron Judge and Juan Carlos Stanton and Rizzo and some of those other guys. But I don't think that's a good enough reason.
I'm assuming they're kind of talking about maybe like, Houston with, how much they ran away with their division. I'm just kind of thinking off the top of my head, some division. Yankees, that division, you're going to have 2 teams in the wild card anyways,
but
outside of the Yankees and that. But
with the Yankees and the Dodgers and usually the Red Sox, is it going to be forever? Yeah, they got enough money they can keep buying. Houston has been good for quite a while. I will grant you that. But, I think their days are numbered as far as being a dominant team.
Yeah. So, all right, shot clock's going to cut us off there, big boy. That's all I got for receiver deferred, unless you had another really quick one.
Nope, we're good.
You're good? All right. So, rest of you, do you like the new baseball schedule for 2023? A little bit more of a variety. Still 162. You know, you got the All-Star break and that, but what do you like of it? So, well, in case you didn't see the Brewers schedule, they open up against the Cubbies, and then they got the Mets and Cardinals at home right away. So, there you go. You're welcome. Mets and Cardinals to open it up, and Dodgers in May at home right away instead of later on in the season.
I think it's gonna be nice to see all those teams, but
I'm just looking at this. They've looked like they've got a lot of decent long stretches in Milwaukee. Just kind of looking, yeah. Interesting. Okay. Looks like May. They're at home quite a bit, and September, July. All right. Just win the games. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's right.
There's 162 of them. Win your damn games and get to the postseason and make a run. All right, 2 in, 1 more go. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
WAYY Eau Claire, W286CK Eau Claire, Sports Talk 105.1 and 790 AM. Sports Talk 105.1 with the very latest local news.
The passenger in the truck that killed 3 Girl Scouts in Lake Hallie is out of prison after just a year behind bars. State's Department of Corrections yesterday informed a judge in Chippewa Falls that John Stender was released from prison. He was sentenced to 3 years plus 3 years probation for not saying anything after Colton True ran down the Scouts and one of their moms back in 2018. The father of one of the girls yesterday saying Stender's release is upsetting. True is serving a 54-year sentence for the girls' deaths. A Menominee City Council member is accused of threatening officers' jobs after they arrested him for drunk driving last week. Officers say council member Lucas Chase told them he was going to call the chief after they stopped him for a burned out taillight and then arrested him for OWI. It's Chase's first OWI arrest. Officers say Chase also called Menominee's mayor during the traffic stop, as the mayor yesterday said Chase didn't ask him for any favors. And those student loan wipeout plans, we heard it from the White House yesterday. President Biden unveiling his plan to cancel some federal student loan debt.
We will forgive $10,000 in outstanding federal student loans.
A University of Wisconsin-Madison professor Nick Hillman says President Biden faces pressure to do something with the midterms nearing.
I think the longer that this plays out, the more that the political opponents on the right are going to critique that and say this is not the way to go.
When it comes to the pause on student loan payments, that allegedly is extended, but for the last time.
I'm extended to December 31st, 2022, and it's going to end.
The details of that plan yet to be released. And it's a record. What were you doing at 17? A 17-year-old now, the youngest person to fly around the world alone. Mark, what about this guy?
Mac Rutherford landed in Bulgaria on Wednesday afternoon after completing his 5-month-long voyage across 52 countries and 5 continents. The British-Belgian national belongs to a family of aviators and at one point was the youngest pilot in the world at the age of 15. His latest solo trip earned him 2 Guinness World Records, not only for being the youngest person to fly around the globe solo, but also for being the youngest to do so in a microlight plane. I'm Mark Mayfield.
You know, and ahead of planning for the Casper Classic tomorrow, people were talking about who's going to drive the golf cart, who's packing what, but let you in on a little secret. Casper isn't going to be in a golf cart this year. He's trying to win that belt so bad that he's going to be tooling around in
a microlight plane.
That's what I heard. For Sports Talk 105.1. I'm Morgan McCarthy.
In the wake of yesterday's showers and storms that dumped quite a bit of rain in some locations and not so much in others, we'll start to see a few clouds this morning, some patchy fog, but otherwise will clear out going into the afternoon, becoming mostly sunny later on with temperatures climbing to the mid to upper 70s. Later tonight, mostly clear with lows dipping to the low 50s before giving way to a bit of patchy fog tomorrow with sunny conditions and temperatures around the 80-degree mark. I'm Skywarn 13 meteorologist Mike Dandry.
If you're hiring, you need Indeed. Their hiring tool lets you schedule and conduct virtual interviews all in one place. Learn more at Indeed.com/credit.
Welcome to the Dan Kasper Show.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's It's the show that features serious, thought-provoking sports talk and insightful sports commentary.
You knew it!
In other words, it's the show where they all talk a crap load about sports.
Let's go for it!
Now let's introduce your host, a man who lives and bleeds and has a passion for sports. A man who breaks everything down in the sports world and gives you everything you need to know. Plus a bunch of stuff you probably don't need, but you'll still enjoy it.
You can't handle the truth!
Here is your host, Dan Kasper.
Prime time! Prime time!
Final hour on this Thirsty Thursday coming at you. Dan Kasper Show's on the air, radio dials, couple of those, 105.1 FM, 790 AM, online, sportstalk1051.com. You can stream it, get the video feed up there. You got the app. And, of course, your Google and Alexa home devices. Coming up at the bottom of the hour, we'll do our Carpet City Flooring Center outdoor tidbits with Jake Folks, DNR Warden. Got a couple questions from him from you, the listeners. So do a quick check-in there. Packers' final tune-up for the regular season is tonight against the Chiefs. Who are you watching? What are you watching? Position groups. What do you think is the biggest position maybe that has the most uncertainty, where maybe more jobs are up for grabs? All that fun stuff. Hit us up with some tweets, 715-8, or some text, 715-830-1912. You can do Twitter and Facebook if you want as well. Hey, we got college football does kick off tomorrow on Saturday. They're big boys. Week 0, they're calling it, or whatever.
Yeah, Nebraska and Northwestern playing in England or something? Dublin, Ireland. Okay.
Yeah, Dublin. So you get a little Big Ten action there. Then you got Wyoming visiting Illinois. That's a little Big Ten teams there. Some other games. You got Idaho State, UNLV, UConn at Utah State. Florida State's in action. North Carolina's in action. Vanderbilt's going to visit Hawaii. So Nevada at New Mexico State. So we'd get a little bit of a taste of the college football season coming up here. Yesterday, we were kind of going through some of the Big Ten predictions on CBS Sports. And one of the writers is fairly high on Wisconsin this year. They kind of even put it out there that it could be one of the best Badger football teams of all time. You buying that?
Wow. I hope he's right. I can't say that I know. I haven't followed. I don't know the people that he brought in the transfer portal. I don't know. I'm hoping the writer's right.
Obviously, everybody's picking Ohio State, for the East. Majority of them picked Wisconsin for the West, besides Dennis Dodd, who picked Iowa.
I heard people picking Minnesota.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of all over the place, but mostly it's Wisconsin over there. But I didn't quite buy it either. With I don't know. I don't know what to expect from Wisconsin this year. I really don't, because you've got a new offensive coordinator. What is that going to mean for Graham Mertz? We got Allen. Can't say he's 17 years old anymore. He's an adult. I've got confidence in Jimmy Leonard with the defense, but it's just, to me, it's the offense is still an unknown outside the running game. Heck, even the offensive line is a little bit of an unknown too.
Yeah, I don't know how much leadership Mertz is going to provide, how good Mertz really is. I don't know. The jury's still out on whether or not he's an upgrade over, Stave and a kid that played for a while.
Eldridge or whatever.
No,
was
the
it?
kid that transferred to Miami.
You're not thinking Hornibrook, are you?
Hornibrook,
yeah,
thank
Florida
you.
State,
or Florida State, yeah. And is he better than them? I don't think he's shown he is. He had one good game when he started, and everybody thought, oh, this is the second coming of Russell Wilson, because he had his feet were really moving, but he hasn't improved. Hopefully he has now. I don't know.
So I'll just kind of reread it here for you for what Barrett Sally said for Wisconsin from CBS Sports. Bold predictions. The 2022 Big Ten Championship game will serve as a de facto play-in game for the playoff. However, if Wisconsin is capable of springing the upset on Ohio State, both teams could get in, depending on how the landscape of the football season evolves. Earlier, he had said that Ohio State gets all the love as the top team in the Big Ten, but Wisconsin has all the makings to be one of the best Badger teams of all time. They have one of the best running backs in the country, a veteran quarterback who has unrealized upside on the table, and one of the most fundamentally sound defenses in the country. To put it simply, it's a perfect blueprint for success for Coach Paul Chryst. Are the Badgers the best team in the Big Ten? No, that's Ohio State. But if the two meet in the Big Ten championship game, Wisconsin is fully capable of putting together 60 good minutes and shaking up the college football world. High praise.
Yeah, very high praise. Hope they're right.
I do too.
But so much rests on Mertz. That's the bottom line. Can Mertz elevate? Because Braylon Allen, and I think they got a couple of running backs behind him that are also that are also young kids that I think are going to be able to play. Did that kid that transferred out of Clemson and got hurt, and then Braylon Allen came in there and took it over? Did that kid even come back? Is he gone?
Ches Malusi?
Yeah,
Ches is still there.
Is he still there?
Yeah.
I don't know how much playing time he's going to get, because I think they've got two younger kids that were freshmen last year that didn't get a chance to play a whole lot, but I think they've got some upside too.
So I don't know what to. I mean, I hope that they end up being one of the better Badger teams, but they're coming in ranked 18th in the AP poll, so they got a little bit of a hill to climb to try to get up there. But you beat Ohio State early in the season, well, then you're going to be in the top 10 easily.
Yeah, that's going to be an early battle. Unfortunately, it's in Columbus, so it's all going to be stacked against you. But they've won in Columbus before recently, so sounds like they're very capable. I hope they are.
I'm kind of looking at some of the picks here for their predictions on how the Big Ten West is going to shape up. Northwestern is the majority to finish last. Illinois got a couple of votes on there. But the same writer who's really high in Wisconsin, not high in Minnesota, he's got them finishing second to last.
Well, I don't know. They got Tanner, the quarterback, coming back, and they got the running back coming back. I forgot his name, but I thought he'd go in the draft. Why he didn't, I don't know. He got hurt early and didn't have much of a season last year for Minnesota, but he's well thought of. But he came back, and they've got some good players. Their defense is supposed to be really, really good.
So this isn't going to help. So we were talking about, no offense to Barrett, he's the writer that's been touting up Wisconsin that we've. You might lose a little bit here after I tell you who he picked to finish second in the Big Ten West. Illinois.
Oh, Lord. What's he related to Brent Bielema?
Illinois, Purdue, then Iowa at 4th, Nebraska 5, Minnesota 6, Northwestern 7.
Oh, the guy's lost all his credibility.
I was just saying, Illinois, that's pretty high.
But it's very high, and I don't know. He must have brought in all transfers and no young kids as far as his team is concerned to build his roster down there.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. So I guess we'll see.
That's why they play the game.
Yeah, man. But
I guess I'm more shocked at where he's got Minnesota than Illinois. Minnesota is much better than that kind of a rating.
Some of the other ones for the Gophers, some of the other picks there. The highest one is second. It looks like Chip Patterson picked them to go second. It looks like the average is about 3. I guess David Cobb put them at second. Jerry Palm has them at second too. So it's between second and third place in the Big Ten West. Where they're at, I'm just kind of going based off average. Wisconsin was the runaway favorite.
Yeah, and if this quarterback they've got, he's this is the year for him to shine, and people think he's going to step up and do a good job. He's got solid running backs. The offensive line, of course, they had about 10 offensive linemen last year that they played. They've lost a lot of them now because some of them were 6th-year players, but because of COVID and the red shirt rule and all that, they could stay around that long. I mean, a couple of guys left school and went right to the Social Security office to apply for benefits. They went around so long.
Jeez, you with the zingers. I mean, you open it up just completely dissing every Viking player and fan in the world.
No, I'm not. What
Yeah,
do you
you
mean?
are.
Why? What did I
Yeah,
do?
the joke you said at the beginning.
Well, that's what was a joke. What the heck?
Well, you were dissing. A joke is a diss. So
Well, that's all right. Well,
and then now you're with that. 2 hours later, here you go. You're rolling here,
another
man.
45 minutes.
Holy moly! So,
but I think Minnesota's going to have a good team this year.
Yeah, row the boat.
Yeah.
Row the boat, PJ.
A lot of people are saying PJ Fleck's going to be coach of the year in the Big Ten.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I've seen 2 or 3 predictions of that.
Okay. Then he'll jump to the NFL, or he'll be rumored for NFL jobs again.
Yeah, and whether he'll go this time or not, I don't know. But supposedly he had some solid offers, but he didn't want to leave.
Row that boat, baby. So, speaking of the NFL, we got a couple preseason games tonight, including the Packers wrapping up their 3-game preseason schedule with a quick visit to the Kansas City Chiefs. No, it will not be Aaron Rodgers versus Patrick Mahomes that we've been waiting for how many times, and one time it was no Patrick Mahomes, and the other time it was obviously no Aaron Rodgers. That was last year, so we might not see it unless they play each other in the Super Bowl. But still some things to be watching for in tonight's game. What position group will you be paying attention to the most? We've got just kind of looking at the cut dates. Let me see when that 53 man cut date, because it is next week.
And we haven't
the 30th Tuesday. So
we talked about all these position groups, but the last game, and I didn't watch it all. I watched part of it.
How dare you?
But but their special teams are still not without some flaws.
It was because I was at the game with Hudson. Within the first 5 minutes, Veronica and I were talking about that was the most, and I know it was probably minority. It was just a section I was in. But you would have thought that was a regular season game with all the complaining from fans with that preseason game, man. It was part of it was especially because like there was that long term, but oh no, here we go. And of course, everybody was complaining about that. And I mean, I'm not going to go into it again, but yeah, I mean, there's been a couple of instances where there's been some returns. It's like, oh, you know what?
Yeah, and it's miscommunication when they come over to the side. The coach was Battaglia, is that his name? And he's talked very, very sternly, let's say, to some of the players that were on the field for those special teams. Now, whether those guys are still on the roster, I don't know. I mean, I think they're just using warm bodies, but they gotta get it figured out. You cannot let special teams beat you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, heck, we're talking about the coverage, but who's going to be the returner?
Oh, that's both sides. Yeah, it's not
sides.
Just our kick and return team. It's our kick and coverage teams. There's returning is a challenge too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Randall Cobb can catch punts, but he's not going to outrun anybody as far as a return.
Is there going to be somebody kind of like a Desmond Howard that won a job because he kicked or returned a kick for a punt for a touchdown in the final preseason game? I mean, is that
Amari Rodgers?
Is it Rico Gafford? I mean, the speedster. I mean, is there a possibility of that happening tonight? Could be. I guess never say never, right? I mean,
no. I mean, and those are the things in these preseason games that they want to work on. I'm sure if they get with a second offense in there, and I don't know what LaFleur's thought process is, but if they get 3rd and 1 on the 50-yard line, I'm punting.
3rd and 1 or 4th and 1?
4th and 1. I mean. I'm punting because it's more important to see the coverage team than the second offense or third offense try and get a first down.
Well, you're no fun.
But I'm thinking of the future. I'm thinking of the regular season. I want to see who can and will cover a punt.
Oh, yeah, I say I don't mind at the beginning of preseason, punt as many times as you want. I want to see if this coverage unit can do anything.
I don't want to see him go for a 4th and 1. I want to see him punt the ball, see what kind of coverage we can get.
Don't play Madden then, intern. You're no fun to play Madden against them.
No, I don't play Madden.
We should get you to play Madden one of these days. I'll bring in my Madden and we'll record you trying to play Madden 23. See what kind of words come out of your mouth. with that. I might have to clean it up at times, but I would that'd be fun watching you try to play a video game.
I've never played it. I know
played that's why I want to do it.
As long as Madden's been on the market, I've never. My kid had it, but I never did.
I want to see you like, what is this controller?
Yeah, I've done
joysticks,
some of that stuff, but I've never done all that.
Well, there's like 7-10 buttons on that thing now too, so even I get confused on it because I'm not a all-time thing. I just I picked up a copy for the first time in years. I guarantee you I'll be done with it in 2 weeks. I'll be already, all right, I'm done. I go through my phases like that.
Yeah, my phase is watching the games on TV.
We're going to do Madden Sims, and, that's going to be the picks and all that. Know it, man. It's coming.
What do you think about this discussion, so to speak, of the Hall of Fame? And
the Silver Jackets?
Madden's name was brought up. Does he belong in the Hall of Fame? But yeah,
hell yeah, he does.
Well, I mean, I know that, but I mean, the discussion has been brought up. But guys like Deion Sanders said, well, first ballot Hall of Famers should have gold. Everybody else should be this, that, and the other thing.
Yeah,
I don't think. I mean, that's kind of a conceited attitude. I think.
I mean, Deion, I love primetime, but he's made some. What was it? I think when the top 100 players came out, the first original one in 2010, he was upset because he was ranked 35th. He was the highest ranked corner, but he threw a fit because he wasn't ranked higher. And it's like, okay, but who are you going to put? So he's done stuff like that before. No, I'm not in favor of the Silver Jackets and bronze or whatever you want to do it. That's just that takes away from the player. I mean, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's kind of demoralizing. So you can say, well, are they letting everybody in? I mean, that's a discussion, but no.
Well, it's like when you have the bus made, the first ballot Hall of Famers are the bronze. Next ones are, anybody after that's carved out of wood. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. If you're a Hall of Famer, you're a Hall of Famer. Like we talked just a little while ago about baseball Hall of Fame. How many guys have not made it on the first ballot that should have and eventually end up? I mean, no, I think it's a lot of nonsense to even consider. And I don't think anybody is considering it. I think it's just something that Deion brought up in the course of somebody brought up a conversation about the Hall of Fame, and he said first ballot Hall of Famer should be treated different. Well, you're Hall of Famer, you're a Hall of Famer.
I agree. I think exactly right. Hall of Famer, you're a Hall of Famer. I know Bruce Smith had something to say about Tony Baselli getting in and, whether he should get in or not. But, I think part of it, though, too, is because there has been so many good players to come through and you're only allowed to put in so many a year, it gets backlogged a little bit. I mean, that's not the players' faults.
No.
If you're only allowed to add in a few players every single year, that's what happens. And sometimes, the voters might go like, okay, this guy's, it's been a couple years, he needs to get in. That, we've seen that before. But, yeah, if you're a Hall of Famer, you're a Hall of Famer. Don't demoralize it by, was it because I think they said
you don't want to rank Hall of Fame as a Hall of Fame.
I think they were kind of saying like, well, everybody gets a participation award now, so they're kind of comparing that to a Hall of Fame. Everybody participate. I don't think it's to that point.
Not even close.
What was it?
Close.
When I was watching Leroy's, was he like number 351 or something like that? But you think about it, for football's been around for 100 years, over 100 years. And still to only say there's only like 300 some players in there out of how many they've gone through, that's still an elite club.
Oh, absolutely.
That's still an elite club.
Absolutely. It's an elite club.
You do that ratio right there, and it's like, they're not letting everybody in that thing. They don't retire numbers like the Yankees do for every single player that goes through there.
Well, the Yankees have had exceptional history compared to a lot of other teams.
I know Paul O'Neill's number just got retired. So.
No, that one I'm not so sure about.
That's why I brought it up.
When you talk about, Whitey Ford and Babe Ruth and Mickey Mantle and Lou Gehrig,
Joe DiMaggio,
Paul O'Neill.
Mm-hmm.
Let them do what they want, but that would be one I would maybe question as far as Hall of Fame for the Yankees.
Yeah, they if you wear 1 through 10, change your number. Those are all gone for the Yankees. Then you got Jorge Posada's 20 is retired. Don Mattingly's 23 is retired. Andy Pettit's 46 is retired. Bernie Williams' 51 is retired. And then, now Paul O'Neill's 21 is retired. Kind of curious.
Of course, Rivera, he wore 42, and that's retired all over baseball now. He's the last guy to wear it, I think.
I believe so. They got 2 number 8s retired, according to YankeeNumbers.com.
Yogi and
Bill Dickey.
Oh, okay. Both catchers, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so 2 of them right there. Interesting. All right, we got to take a quick break. Jake's going to pull over off the highway. He's going down to Madison, so he's going to do a quick check-in with us, our Carpet City Flooring Center outdoor tidbit, answering a couple of listener questions. So we'll do that. Then we'll get back to some more green and gold chat. But quick check-in with our DNR warden, Mr. Jake Boakes.
The Dan Kasper Show will be right back.
With the changing of the seasons, is that also getting you in the mood for changing up things around your home? But you probably got 2 questions on your mind. Where do I go to donate some items? And maybe where do I find some different items for my home? Easy. Chippewa Valley Habitat for Humanity Restore. You can do it all in one stop at the Chippewa Valley Habitat for Humanity Restore. You could donate your couch and decide to go with a couple of recliners that you found at the Restore to change up your look. And the best part of all this is that your donation and your purchase goes to helping fund home builds for families in our area. Habitat for Humanity is doing some amazing work in our area, and you can be a part of that too. Just visit cvh4h.org for more information and visit the Chippewa Valley Habitat for Humanity Restore at 145 North Claremont Avenue in Eau Claire. You'll never know what kind of treasures you can find at the Restore. And if you want to early look at some of the awesome stuff at the Restore, don't forget to like and follow the Chippewa Valley Habitat for Humanity Facebook page.
Hi, this is Matt LePay, voice of Badgers football and basketball. At this very moment, there are thousands of Wisconsin families impacted by Alzheimer's disease or dementia who need support. Who do they trust? The Alzheimer's Association. Caregiving can be an emotionally, physically, and financially draining role. The Alzheimer's Association provides education, care, and support to all those facing Alzheimer's and other dementia. The Alzheimer's Association is here all day, every day, through their free 24/7 helpline. One call, thousands of answers. If you have concerns about memory loss or other cognitive changes, or questions about caregiving, Alzheimer's diagnosis, and treatment or clinical trials, make that call today to 800-272-3900 or visit alz.org/WI.
Sponsored by the Alzheimer's Association Wisconsin chapter with funding by Oak Park Place Foundation.
Get ready to save with half-off deals, a great way for you to get goods and services that you will love and you don't have to pay full price. Be sure to check out all the great savings that half-off deals have to offer. There's something for everyone, so be sure to see for yourself. Be ready with your credit or debit card and get ready to save. For more details and to find out about all the savings, just go to aroundthe715.com.
Fall is fast approaching. Football, leaves falling, cooler nights and mornings, and hunting season. It's time to get ready for hunting season, people. You've waited all winter, spring, and summer for this. And Tilden Gun has been waiting for you. You looking for a shotgun for turkey, duck, or bird hunting? How about a new rifle for deer or bear hunting? Tilden Gun has the best selection in the area and at the best prices. Tilden Gun is your best spot to get ready for the upcoming 2022 hunting season. I know from experience. I've gotten my new turkey shotgun and my new deer rifle from Tilden Gun. And I ain't kidding when I said it was the best price that I found. And you want to talk about the selection? Tilden Gun easily had the best selection of firearms. I can't tell you how many people have told me that Tilden Gun was the only place that could find the certain firearm they were looking for. So what the heck are you waiting for? Visit tildengun.com to look for your new hunting firearm today.
Hi, this is Matt LePay, voice of Badgers football and basketball. At this very moment, there are thousands of Wisconsin families impacted by Alzheimer's disease or dementia who need support. Who do they trust? The Alzheimer's Association. Caregiving can be an emotionally, physically, and financially draining role. The Alzheimer's Association provides education, care, and support to all those facing Alzheimer's and other dementia. The Alzheimer's Association is here all day, every day, through their free 24/7 helpline. One call, thousands of answers. If you have concerns about memory loss or other cognitive changes, or questions about caregiving, Alzheimer's diagnosis and treatment, or clinical trials, make that call today to 800-272-3900 or visit alz.org/WI.
Sponsored by the Alzheimer's Association Wisconsin chapter with funding by Oak Park Place Foundation.
If you were to listen to Dan Kasper nonstop around the clock for a solid month, you'd become the king of all sports fans, desired by beautiful women, and rich beyond your dreams. I think. Try it and let's see. The Dan Kasper Show.
A lot of listeners are going to be paying attention to the edge rushers and safeties, it looks like, if we kind of generalize a lot of the texts that are coming through here. Safeties and edge rushers, the number one position group that many Packers fans, according to you, will be watching tonight as the Packers wrap up their preseason against the Kansas City Chiefs. It's time, though, to check in with our good buddy, Mr. Jake Boakes, who's on the road. So big thanks to Jake for taking a couple minutes to check in with us. Good morning, Jake. How you doing, bud?
Morning. I'm doing good. How are you guys?
Not too bad, bud. Not too bad. Hey, we got a question from another Jake. He goes by Jake from State Farm, and his question is using a drone illegal to scout for animals? I know regulations state that you can't harass any wildlife with your drone, but if I'm 200 feet in the air and just using it to count populations of, say, deer or duck, is that allowed as long as I'm not actively hunting or in the before stages of hunting? What's the answer? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so there's there's a lot of info on it, and the best way to think about this question is to divide it into like two categories. Let's do the hunting category and the wildlife viewing category. So for hunting, the answer for sure is no. You cannot use a drone or any sort of UAV, unmanned aerial vehicle, for any sort of like checking traps or the act or pursuing of hunting. And even if you have a wounded or downed game, legally by statutory authority, you're not allowed to use a drone to track or find a dead deer, like with infrared or anything like that. There are services across the state. There was, when this first came out, some miscommunication between some different outlets and people using these drones, but drones can't be used for anything like that. So then that leads to the wildlife viewing. And that one's a little less, well, I don't want to say less clear, but when it comes to disturbing wildlife, something as simple as altering the path of an animal that's traveling in the air. Like if the drone goes up in the air and a bird's flying by and it has to go left instead of going straight, technically that rises to the definition of disturbing or harassing wildlife, even if it's unintentional. If you're looking to count deer and you spook a bird off its nest, or you're looking to count ducks and you pop them all off the pond and they go flying away. Technically, by statutory authority, that would be considered disturbing wildlife. So my advice and the best thing to do would be to kind of just, at this moment in time, leave the drones out of scouting, leave the drones out of hunting, leave it out of recovering game and stuff like that. I understand like there's the ethical ideas that maybe you could find a deer you won't be able to find, or maybe you'd be able to do something in a safer manner, and I totally understand that. But the best thing with all the laws and drones being newer is that just kind of stay away from that right now.
All right, good stuff.
If that makes sense. I know that was a lot, but I get a lot of questions on it, so I'm well versed in kind of discussing it.
Right, definitely. No, that's a great breakdown, Jake. Appreciate that. And I know, the hunting regulations pamphlets are coming and a couple of changes out there. And as you always say, every time you're on here, get those regulations, read them, and check them out. But a couple of notable changes too for waterfall hunting. I saw that Hunters now can hunt in open waters of the Great Lakes, Green Bay, and Big Green Lake as long as they are a minimum distance of 500 feet from shore. And squirrel season now closes in February instead of the last day in January. So there you go.
Yeah, couple new changes. Again, like you said, you know me better than I know me sometimes. Grab those regulations, take a look at what's new, and even if you have deer hunted for 75 years and you know every rule, just read through it again, because you might learn something that you never thought you could do, or you might realize you've been doing something that maybe you shouldn't have been doing. So it's always good just to grab a cup of coffee or grab a couple beers and just read through it. And it's all, you can get it at the stores, or everything is available online. You can download it, save it to your phone, or just download it anytime you want to look at it.
Perfect. He's Jacob Oakes, Wisconsin Conservation Warden. Dude, thanks for the check-in again this week. We'll catch up with you again next week, and safe travels this morning, buddy, okay?
Yeah, appreciate it. Always a good time. You guys have a good one.
You got it. There you go. Dropping the knowledge is Mr. Jacob Oakes right there. So you didn't even come in with off the hip question.
No.
Trying to catch him off guard.
No, I was interested in the drone because the technology now that those are pretty interesting machines.
Mm-hmm. Have you tried one out before yet?
Oh yeah,
okay.
I've been on, and I've talked to different. The fire departments use them to, and it's interesting because they can do this now with a drone, fire protection and fire, chasing a fire and surrounding a fire, and they can find out. They know where these fires start, so they go ask a landowner, this fire came out of your. Well, I don't know where it started or how it got started. And they say, we do. We got our drone. We know exactly where it started. And it started out behind your garage or whatever it is or something like that. So the drones can be pretty valuable pieces of equipment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. So just I was thinking about this. I was actually talking about this with somebody the other day. I remember as a kid, I mean, it wasn't that long, like 25 years ago or something like that. There was no trail cameras, but there were those strings with the timer that you would put across the trail, and like something would walk it, and that was like your trail camera. Or like, something walked through it. You didn't know what the hell it was, but something walked through there. And then it developed into trail cameras that you had to have like 8 double D batteries and go process the film. And then now to where it's now, I get it sent to my phone, the pictures.
Yep.
So just within the last 20 some years.
Those trail cameras have made a lot of difference in wildlife management.
Mm-hmm.
Not only how many are out there, but what's out there. For years, the powers that be in Wisconsin didn't want to admit there were cats out there.
Yeah.
There are cats out there.
Yep. And you know what else is out there, too? Bigfoot.
Oh, yeah. Well, that goes without saying. We all know that.
A survey would appreciate that one. So, but yeah, you're right. I mean, it's hard to argue pictures when they're out there.
Exactly.
Throw them out there, and it's like, oh yeah, what do you got to say about that?
Yeah. Well, that's what happened. People sent a lot of these pictures of these cat and mountain lions and different things that are around Wisconsin, and there are some here.
Mm-hmm.
And the number of bear and the number, it's the coyotes and the wolves and things like that. There are a lot of coyotes around here that people don't realize.
Oh yeah,
a lot of coyotes.
Yep, definitely. So, but yeah, it's just, you talk about technology, and like even in the outdoors world, I was thinking about that the other day because I was going through my trail cam pics. I'm like, I remember setting up those strings with the little timer, and now I'm getting it sent to a phone, for crying out. And just in the last 25, 27 years.
Yeah.
Holy moly. God, I remember how much of a pain it was to get those trail cams out with the double D batteries and then take it to the drugstore to get the film developed, or the grocery store.
But the technology moves so fast with these drones now. There are so many available. When they first came out, they were pretty select, pretty expensive.
Mm-hmm.
It reminds me of when I started into college. They had the pocket calculators, and they used to sell those. It used to be everybody had a math test, and they had to come out with a certain, an even number. Now with these pocket calculators, they could put together tests where you didn't have to have that, because the pocket calculator could be used to do some of the equations. And remember, they were, $90, $125, $150. Now you buy them for $398 at the checkout counter at the C store.
Or you get them free for a handout.
Exactly. You get them free and somebody puts them in a grab bag for you.
Yep.
So the technology changes, and it's doesn't take long for it to change in a hurry, like we've seen with the drones and with the the technology with the calculators and the handheld devices that we have that do everything but tie your shoes for you.
Yeah. Well, definitely. I remember one thing, the best thing about college, not best thing, but like I in school was not, I would not raise my hand for anything. I was just embarrassed about answering a question. Like, especially like I hate it when you get called on by a teacher because I know I was going to get it wrong. And you try not to. College, they had these clickers that you didn't have to just push the button. Didn't matter if you were right or wrong. you did it on there, and they graded that on participation. It was called like an iClicker or something like that.
We never had those.
I didn't think you did. Probably.
No, we didn't have those.
You had the old school raise your hand, or you get called upon, and like if you
girls in college still wore skirts when I went to college.
Is that what they called them?
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you call them?
Mini ones.
Yeah, there was mini skirts, and there were knee length skirts, and above the knee length, and this. But yeah, they still were, and the TAs were.
College.
Yeah,
I miss college.
Oh, it's fun to go back as long as you don't have to sit in the classroom for 12 or 14 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'd go back to UW Clare, and I don't recognize it anymore. So
no, they're all different with the modern technology, the modern buildings they're putting together.
That,
yeah, and they've had to do that to adapt to the technology because
even getting kids to come.
Yeah, exactly. You have to have the environment. I mean, before it was just you had something to plug into, and you had lights that turn on. Now you got to have modems, and you got to have all kinds of things that the new technology will be adaptable to in the buildings.
Yeah, I mean, goodness gracious, I remember the old overhead projectors with the teachers would get out these clear sheets and
I hated those things. I hated those things.
I had one teacher that was, I don't want to say lazy in high school, but he kept them every year. He didn't erase them. He busted out the file. All right, slap it on there, and didn't have to rewrite anything.
Those overhead projectors. Oh my goodness, I hated those things.
Best part of the day, though, this is a little bit after your time, is when the teacher would roll in the big old cart with the big old tube TV strapped down with a ratchet strap. You knew what was happening. It was movie day.
Oh yeah, we had that. We had that. And we had in grade school about every other Friday after lunch, we had movies in the afternoon.
Well, really?
Yeah. And then the afternoon on a Friday was a movie. And then when it was all done, you went home.
Did you do fluoride when you were in school?
Yep.
Okay, I did too.
Yeah.
Do they still do that?
We took goiter pills.
What the heck is that? A goiter pill?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Yeah, we had pills that we used to take. They're called goiter pills. I don't know what they were for. And they tasted, I don't know, they were kind of chalky flavored and stuff like that. But people that are around my age will remember taking those goiter pills.
Oh, man. I had to do it a couple times. Is like you wanted to do. They made it's like kids to go to every classroom with the pull carts and the fluoride and the cups. I want to do it because that meant I didn't have to do it. Like I did it, but I didn't have to do the fluoride. It's disgusting. Oh, I can still get that taste in my mouth. I still have it in my mouth. Oh, it's so bad.
Yeah,
Yuck.
But we all survived, didn't we? We all survived.
Ooh.
And most of us still have our teeth.
Never had a cavity in my life.
There you go.
36 years old.
There you go.
Never had one.
Good for you.
Hudson's already had one, so gets that from his mom.
Well, that's parenting. You got to take care of the kid.
Hey, I haven't had one. It doesn't come from me then.
But now they paint the kid's teeth as soon as the permanent tape, they paint them with some kind of stuff so you can't get a cavity. They kind of
really,
yeah, like varnish them or whatever they do with clear varnish they put on their teeth or whatever.
They just lacquer it up or something like that.
Dentists or dental hygienists in the audience will know what I'm talking about. But now the kids go in and they put something on the teeth that's a protective coating.
What's that? Where's the Honorable Travis from A-Town? The quote from Christmas Vacation with Clark. His job is like he's got the silicone varnish over the cereal so the cereal doesn't get soggy or anything like that. It's a product he's really excited about in the movie. But
I'm not surprised you get excited about it.
All right, we gotta take our final break here. So, last call for any.
Accomplished a lot in that break, didn't we?
Yeah, I got that fluoride taste in my mouth again from elementary school.
I'll see if I can find an old goiter pill to get for you.
I gotta know what that is. I'm gonna Google that.
You're listening to the Dan Kasper Show.
The VFW Post 305 on Star Avenue in Eau Claire, where breakfast is served 7 days a week, 7 to 11 a.m. Make sure to come on Wednesdays for great specials on burgers and wings. And if you're looking for a Friday fish fry, look no further. Try the VFW Post 305 on Star Avenue. After the Friday fish fry, stay for karaoke from 9 to 1 a.m. Sundays from 2:30 to 6:30 p.m., the DJ plays your favorite oldies hits. VFW Post 305 on Star Avenue in Eau Claire, where no one does more for veterans and their community.
Get ready to save with half-off deals. A great way for you to get goods and services that you will love and you don't have to pay full price. Be sure to check out all the great savings that half-off deals have to offer. There's something for everyone, so be sure to see for yourself. Be ready with your credit or debit card and get ready to save. For more details and to find out about all the savings, just go to aroundthe715.com.
Your favorite golf outing is back. The second annual Kasper Classic, benefiting Backyard Dreams, will be happening on August 26th at Princeton Valley Golf Course in Eau Claire. For just $90, you get a two-person team that includes 9 holes of golf, a cart, 6 free drink tickets, and a lunch. This year, we have 2 sessions teeing off for a shotgun start. Tee times are at 10:30 a.m. and 1 o'clock p.m. So give Princeton Valley a call at 715-834-3334 to sign up and pick your session before it fills up. The Kasper Classic benefits Sports Talk 105.1's charitable entity, Backyard Dreams. The 5 goals for Backyard Dreams are to provide and promote opportunities for anyone to have a chance to play, to help anyone overcome obstacles to chase their dreams, to help raise awareness for those in need, to help create opportunities for those to enjoy their passions, and to help those enjoy their life and create special memories. So sign up for the Kasper Classic today. Visit sportstalk1051.com for more details.
Hi, this is Matt LePay, voice of Badgers football and basketball. At this very moment, there are thousands of Wisconsin families impacted by Alzheimer's disease or dementia who need support. Who do they trust? The Alzheimer's Association. Caregiving can be an emotionally, physically, and financially draining role. The Alzheimer's Association provides education, care, and support to all those facing Alzheimer's and other dementia. The Alzheimer's Association is here all day, every day, through their free 24/7 helpline. One call, thousands of answers. If you have concerns about memory loss or other cognitive changes, or questions about caregiving, Alzheimer's diagnosis and treatment, or clinical trials, make that call today to 800-272-3900 or visit alz.org/WI.
Sponsored by the Alzheimer's Association Wisconsin chapter with funding by Oak Park Place Foundation.
Dealing with an outdated printer that just can't keep up with you? Visit Staples and upgrade to a new HP Envy Inspire with HP Plus, HP's best home printer. And it comes with 6 months of free ink. It prints everything you need, from homework and work documents to incredible photos and more with amazing quality. Right now, save $70 on the HP Envy Inspire 7955E, available at Staples. Offer valid through August 27. See staples.com/HP Plus for details.
Because you have high standards and won't settle for anything less, like your wife did. It's the Dan Kasper Show.
Seven o'clock kickoff tonight. So plan your nights around Packers, Kansas City. There's only a couple games for tonight. You got San Francisco and Houston. Majority will take place. Got a few tomorrow, then this weekend. But Tuesday is going to be cut down day, where they got to get down to that 53-man roster. So of players will be on the move, and this will be the last chance for some of those players on the Packers to either secure a job for Green Bay or maybe secure a job somewhere else.
You know, and you watch preseason so far, and usually there are some big name cuts by now, but I haven't heard of any real big name cuts so far. Have you?
Not really.
Yeah, usually there are some big ones.
I kind of feel bad. Joel Schobert, who just signed with Denver, ended up getting cut. But the story is that he was actually holding out, could have gone to a couple different teams, but he had bought a house in Denver, and he was really eyeing up to go to Denver. Denver signed him just about a week or two ago, but he ended up getting just cut now too. So
the linebacker from
Wisconsin.
Yeah.
So I'd maybe be able to come back, but it's just you hate to see that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you do. I mean, especially if you're buying the house in Denver is not going to, lose any real estate value. That's a hot market out there.
Mm-hmm.
But if he could have played with Denver, that would have been a perfect scenario for him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like you said, maybe he'll come back anyway.
Yeah, because I mean, he's only 28 years old. He'll be 29 in November. But if you look at, I mean, he is a Pro Bowl lineman. He's got a Pro Bowl under his resume. But last year in Pittsburgh, he started 15 games, played 16, 112 total tackles. The year prior in Jacksonville, 141 total tackles. Every year he's had over 100 tackles besides his rookie year in Cleveland. 144, 103, 133, 141, 112. There's got to be a place for him somewhere.
Well, I would think so, and I don't know how much money he was looking to make or what he was trying to hold out for, but, there's always a compromise in there someplace, and hopefully it works out for him.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll see some more players. By the way, Danny Davis was released a couple days ago too. So
the Packers, huh?
Yep. But
I thought after that he looked pretty good in that preseason game.
And maybe might be a little too optimistic for me, but maybe a little strategy involved where Green Bay is like, you know what, we're going to release him now, and then maybe teams will forget about him when they think about the cut day. We'll bring him back for the practice squad after that.
You never know, but you want to see your Badger kids get a chance to play at the next level. So hopefully somebody will pick him up, and maybe the Packers will figure out a way to bring him back.
Mm-hmm. So that'll be like the practice squad. It's going to be after they get down to the 53, it's a race for the practice squad next week.
How many can they sign for that?
What's that number at now? Is it 16? Let me. It used to be 10 for the longest time.
But those guys are eligible to go to any team, though. Packers don't own them, do they? They can go to any team if somebody says, "Hey, we need to sign you for whatever."
Yep. Yeah. I mean, so 16. It is 16. So okay.
Packers can't hold on to them.
No. In addition, teams are allowed to have 16 practice squad players in total. Also now allowed 10 practice squad players with no more than 10 accrued seasons, up from 4 previously. So yeah, we'll see. And then, the whole activation sort of thing. And it's a little bit, I like the fact that they increased it. It gives more jobs to those kids, or to those guys. But
they're still kids.
Yeah, a lot of them are. Yeah. But we'll see. It'll be a busy week next week for a lot of teams to cut down to 53 and filling out those practice squads. So,
what do you think of the golf announcement yesterday?
Which
the PGA making the announcement of players are going to play in obligated 20 tournaments plus the majors and all these sorts of things.
They're trying.
Yeah, they are.
They're trying to figure something, but they up their purses. Stars commit to 20 events, 12 tournaments to have purses between $15 to $20 million. I think this is a Tiger Woods effect.
Oh, I think so. Cam Smith's going to opt out of the PGA and go to LIV after the championship this week. A lot of talk.
Mm-hmm. There is.
He's from Australia. Greg Norman is from Australia. He's getting a lot of pressure.
Yep. I think he's going to.
I do too.
I think
it'd be a shame because he's a great young player, but we're never going to see him again.
Yep. See, Tiger and Rory are teaming up too for they're launching a tech-infused golf league in partnership with the PGA Tour. that will have players competing on 6 three-man teams in 15 regular season matches and a playoff starting in January of 2024.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm not sure exactly how that's going to work or what the gist of that is.
The new league, TGL, will feature 2-hour, 18-hole matches on a virtual course. The matches will take place in prime time on Monday nights in a custom-made venue in a yet-to-be-determined location. Renderings released Wednesday indicate that the venues will feature a simulator that players will hit longer shots into, along with an authentic green area for chipping and putting. The matches will be played between January and April, and each of the 6 teams will compete 5 times during the 15-week schedule. Rory and Woods planned to compete in the matches. So
I was going to say it'll be easy for Tiger. There's no walking.
Right.
Just stand there and swing.
Yep. And I think this is, again, we talk about technology, right?
Yep.
Esports and technology, it's getting bigger and bigger out there.
It is, but still, sports needs a live audience.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can watch it on your device or whatever, but for how long?
Mm-hmm.
You know, what is the intrigue if it's, you know, it's if you're just going to be able to view it? Because these guys are going to be the participants, not like Madden, where anybody can play Madden. Doesn't sound like this is going to be for the audience. It's just for the players.
Just kind of reading a little bit more.
I don't know how much following they would get for that.
I think it'll be halfway decent. Tiger says embracing technology to create this unique environment gives us the ability to move our sport into prime time on a consistent basis alongside so many of sports' greatest events. As a big sports fan myself, I'm excited about blending golf with technology and team elements common in other sports. We all know what it's like to be in a football stadium or a basketball arena where you can watch every play, every minute of the action unfold right in front of you. It's something that inherently isn't possible in traditional golf, and an aspect of TGL that will set it apart and appeal to a new generation of fans. So maybe there will be an audience in there watching it.
I hope so. That's something I'm going to rush to. I'd still rather walk a golf
because one of
course.
the it is a live audience because one of the TGL golfers will play in front of a live audience at arenas that will feature a simulator for longer shots in an authentic green area for chipping and putting. I'm seeing a mock-up of that right now. Interesting. They even got like bunkers in there too. So, all right. Kind of weird because it's got like the scoreboard sort of thing. And,
you know, when they get it up and running to
Yeah.
see what it's, you know, it's hard at this point to say, yeah, it's good or no, it's maybe not so good. I don't know until I see it actually operating and how the fans can interact if they can.
You'll like this. I
What?
just thought of this.
What?
There's a roof, no rain delays.
Good deal.
You won't have to worry about that.
That's right.
But no, I remember as a kid watching the primetime stuff with Tiger. You know, like they would do it once in a while. Like David Duvall did it, I think, with him. It was a primetime match where they put the lights on the course. And
Oh, I remember those. Yep.
I think like it was Annika Sorenstam did it once where they had teams on there. But, you know, they've kind of done their things with Tiger and Phil did it Thanksgiving a few years ago. And now with the quarterbacks doing their thing and that. But let's see how it plays out. Tiger's going to do it. It's going to draw interest.
Oh, there's no question.
So-
And Rory, Tiger and Rory both. I mean, those are two the most appealing guys in golf right now. There's no question about it.
And I think it's huge for the PGA that those two are partnering up and working together and, you know, on the PGA side too. It's the fact that, you know, Tiger, we know, changes the dial, but a guy like Rory too, who has been kind of the, right before Tiger really started talking, but Rory was the voice for the PGA with this whole live thing too.
And there's been discussion, and I think it's viable. Tiger will be the next commissioner of the PGA.
I think that would be really, I think he's going to end up doing something. I don't know if it'll be commissioner, but he'll be something.
But for him versus the current, Monahan,
Jay,
the current commissioner, he goes in to talk to sponsors. And okay, Jay Monahan goes in to talk to the president and CEO of X corporation. Tiger Woods comes in. The whole company is going to be in the auditorium, listening to his appeal for support. I mean, it's just the dynamic is so much different. Tiger is so much bigger than life, you know. And so he stands there and gets his picture taken with a whole bunch of people. He comes out of there with a $10 or $20 million sponsor.
Would it be like Nick Saban walking into a recruit's living room, be like, Okay. Just like it's like like Nick Saban, we talk about recruiting, Coach K. Yeah, you still got to recruit a little bit, but it's probably a little bit easier than, Joe Schmo up the streets, trying to go into, you got
or even the defensive coordinator
Yeah.
coming in, or an offensive coordinator coming in. That's, Monahan is the leader, no question about it. But the face of golf is still Tiger Woods.
You probably have people like, okay, blank check. Here you
Yeah,
go. If
that's
it's Tiger.
what I mean. That's what I mean. They want to be in the orbit of the Tiger Woods world. And
Mhm.
Tiger comes to our corporation or wherever we are, and he wants us to help be part of the PGA. We're going to do it.
Kind of like when you and I walk into
Same thing. Yeah,
a place of
absolutely.
business or something.
Absolutely.
We know how Tiger would feel.
Yeah. I mean, you look at Century World, the insurance company over here in central Wisconsin. They've got the first tournament of the year, the Tournament of Champions. That's a big deal. They bring their people in from all over the country to help run that thing and do this. That's an expenditure of a lot of resources for Century World to do that. And because, they're here. The tournament's in Maui. So it's a lot different world. And so you got corporations already doing that. Tiger stops over to Century World and says, thanks, we appreciate what you're doing.
The cars lined up just to catch a glimpse.
They're going to keep doing it. Because Tiger came here, it's I think it's reality, possibility.
Yep.
Have a good one.
You too, man. All right. DP and a Dance, they're up next. We'll see you tomorrow at the golf course. We'll be doing the show live from over there at Princeton Valley. Second annual Kasper Classic starts tomorrow.
You're listening to the Dan Patrick Show on WAYY Eau Claire, W286